Morning.
Morning.
What's up?
Like right now,
Yeah.
a little sleepy, but much less so than usual for the podcast. Actually woke up at 7:30 this morning and was like, "Huh." So I did some chores around the house and went back to bed. Now I'm back here. I'm up. I'm awake. I want to talk about video games
Did
and
you
such.
did you go back to sleep?
I did
Yeah, okay.
from like 10 to like 12:20.
If they say like if you don't get your full 8, you're kind of killing yourself.
Yeah.
If you get 4 and then you get 4,
I've been doing that for like the past 3 or 4 days.
is that okay?
It is okay.
Okay. Because sometimes you don't get 8, but you get 4 and 4.
So the thing with 4 and 4 is that the important thing about sleep, from my personal experience and what I remember from doing the schooling, is hitting stage 4 REM. Right? You got to hit your REM sleep.
Mm-hmm.
If you don't hit your REM sleep, you're fucked. But as long as you get like a 2.5 hour, 3 hour chunk, right? And you cycle back out to like stage 2 or whatever,
Mm-hmm.
that's fine. You get a couple of those though. But getting dragged out. So you remember back in the day when you had a much stricter schedule than we have now?
Yes.
And you would go to sleep maybe a little bit too later. You'd mess up your schedule a little bit, and your alarm would drag you out of the deepest, darkest sleep. And that was the actual worst thing that has ever happened to a person. It was just just disoriented, awful.
Yeah. And I felt it extra hard because I'm not a morning person.
Right.
So it was always just like
So-
a debuff for a while.
So now do you remember like waking up naturally maybe 15, 20 minutes before your alarm and feeling like okay,
Yeah.
and then being like, I'll get another, my alarm's still going to go off and I'm going to get another 20. And then when you wake up from that 20, it's way worse
Yeah.
than when you had woken up naturally.
Yes.
So
The second set is you get back faster.
the result of the past couple days has been I've been waking up naturally after 3-4 hours, but I'm sleeping twice a day now, and it's weird.
Spaced out?
Yeah,
Oh.
yeah.
Okay. Yeah, I mean, so I know that you can set your body to that mode, and we've talked a bunch of times about like the different fucked up ways that college students try to
Iron Man sleep schedule. Try it.
to
Don't
break
try
it
it.
down. You know?
Don't try it.
No, you don't do that. But there's other college version sleep schedules, including things like 2 power naps as opposed to.
I used to run the sleep schedule back in my college days of stay up for 3 or 4 days at a time and then sleep literally all of Saturday, which probably not good.
Doesn't make up for it. If you want to get, I don't know how terrified you feel like being, right? But there's a dude. His name's Matthew Walker.
Okay.
He's a sleep expert, and he's done a bunch of interviews on different podcasts. He did a Rogan some time ago. If you ever felt like just absolutely hearing everything you don't want to hear about how important sleep is and about how super murdering it can be to not.
I'm very familiar.
Yeah.
I've done my own.
But if you just want to really reinforce that,
yeah.
then go listen. Go listen.
So what you're saying is I should fall asleep right now?
If you didn't get any,
Oh yeah.
you know.
Yeah. What's way more interesting to me is why I am on like 2 sleeps a day now, and that is because of a comedy of errors that have happened over the past couple weeks revolving my internet. I talked briefly about it last week. Remember where I was like, My Videotron internet's just fucking up.
You became a red bar.
Red bar all day, every day. Could barely stream. The guy came out to my house. I'm gonna use fucking big air quotes here. Repaired, fixed the problem. Did not fix the problem. Shockingly enough, I streamed that. I think that day, the fucking thing crashed like 3-4 times. Just bam, dead. Great. Okay. Way to confirm for me to switch over to a different internet company with fiber access. The fiber cable, it's much faster, right? Oh my god. So, Wednesday? Thursday is the day that I have made the appointment to get the fiber optics installed. Yes?
Did you cancel the existing Videotron?
No. In fact, Bell has a new thing where they cancel it for you.
How about that? We'll do all the...
We will literally call them and cancel for you.
So
that's a value add.
That screams mobile generation to me, where like when you switch from one provider to another, and you don't want your customers to go through the whole survey bargain situation. They don't want you to hear retention, because
they don't want you.
Whatever retention has to offer might actually
be
suss
good
you back.
Yeah.
So they're gonna handle that for you.
But like,
that's a pretty smart.
I don't want to go through retention either.
I get it.
So,
but it's a pretty smart.
So the deal is that they'll call and cancel it after your shit's installed.
Yeah. Okay.
So they're supposed to show up on Thursday. All right. Wednesday, I wake up. There's a man in my yard, and it's a Videotron man, and he has a big fat loop of cable on his shoulder. And I go, are you serious? And sure enough, this Videotron man that I did not call spends most of the morning recabling the entire block of houses that I am on. And then I go out and I go, hey man, what's up? He goes, yeah, these cables are fucked. Your internet okay? I'm like, no. He's like, it'll be fine now. I'm like, what was causing it? It's like squirrels. I'm like, pardon? Squirrels chewed through the cables at the main line. They fucked up all your internets.
Did they get electrocuted?
No. Because they chewed through the wiring or whatever, but then it's the elements that hit the copper that cause the damage, the corrosion. And I'm like, squirrels. Right? So I'm like, awesome. I'm so glad Videotron sent out a tech to recable essentially my whole neighborhood the day before switching service. Right?
How long between that and the end of the service?
The first guy, like a week.
Okay.
Right? And I'm like, fuck, well, I'll stream tonight, I guess, right? They recabled the whole thing. Problem did not get solved.
Okay.
Somehow, crash after crash after crash. Same exact problem. So I go, okay, well.
Crash?
OBS crash.
Oh.
And OBS will crash because I completely lose internet for 5 seconds.
Okay.
And then it comes back, but it's like, stream's dead, right? Okay, so Thursday. All right. When's the guy coming? 12 to 5. It's better than 8 a.m. to 6 p.m., but it's still like, right? Guy shows up at 10:30 a.m. That's weird. He's super early. Okay. I asked him to come in. I remark, he doesn't have any tools.
Bell guy?
Yeah, the bell guy.
Okay.
Doesn't have any tools. But he's just scoping it out. Scoping it out. Goes to my backyard, goes, hey man, there's a big problem. I'm like, pardon? Big problem? He goes, well, the fiber thing's too far over to the other side. I got to get into this other guy's yard, and this other guy's yard is locked. I go, what? Can't you just use a ladder? I was like, nah, man. Gotta do it from over there. And it's locked. I'm gonna have to come back here tomorrow with another guy. I go, okay, show me where the fucking whose yard? What are you talking about? So we walk over. Sure enough, the guy's backyard is now unlocked because the dude's in it. And I go, hey man, do you mind if my internet guy does the internet thing in your yard? It shouldn't take too long. Goes, yeah, sure, I gotta be out there. He's like, you know, those agreements like apartment buildings. It's like someone has to be there if there's workmen or whatever.
Mm-hmm.
So I gotta be here, but I'm out here. Just are you, you know, you get to? And he goes, oh yeah, I can definitely need. It's definitely a 2-man job though. Are you gonna be here tomorrow? Dude's like, I guess. Like 8 a.m. Yeah, sure, 8 a.m. Okay. So I'm like, so you're going to be back here tomorrow with another guy to do the internet? He goes, yeah, definitely. Leaves. Okay. Well, that was worthless. 8 a.m. the next day, which is why my sleep is screwed up because I was going to bed at 6 a.m. But I got to be awake for dudes stomping around in my house. 2 different guys show up. Take a look at it. You know, walk into the backyard, take a look at the box. Take a look at the guy's yard. Goes, why'd the other guy say he needed 2 guys? Pardon? He's like, this isn't a 2-guy job. And I said, well, he needs 2 guys, and he needs to get in the other guy's yard. And they go, no, we'll just use the ladder.
Yeah.
I think he just didn't want to do it. And then I'm like, wait a second. That guy showed up to a 12 to 5 appointment at 10:30 in the morning on a Friday. That dude was going from house to house figuring out reasons as to why the fuck he didn't or couldn't install the internet so that he could get off Friday afternoon,
get Friday afternoon
at like
off.
1 or 2 p.m. Because the 2 guys are there expecting a super gigantic job, and they're both confused.
Yeah.
Because they're like, oh, I could totally do this by myself. It'll be a little easier with the other guy. Right?
The fun part about those is, of course, you don't have anyone's number, so you can't.
No, I don't know the guy's name. I don't like.
Because you could just be like, hey, you would call him and ask. I am not the expert.
But yeah, it's just some older tech guy, just with a little bit of an accent. Goes, I think he just did not want to do it.
You got to respect the hustle.
I super don't.
He's trying to get that Friday. He's doing what it takes. Waking up early. He's waking up early to be
get
lazy.
off work.
Yeah. You got to respect that hustle.
So there's 2 guys. They do it from my side of the yard because it was super easy to just put a ladder up against the fence and climb up to the box. And then they cable it, and they cable it all through my house, and then they set it all up. And man, I was expecting them to show up at 8, finish by 9, and then go back to bed, right? So it's 12:30 p.m. and they're finally done, and they plug in the modem, and the modem doesn't fucking work. And they call up Bell, and this is the thing that I am just so baffled by. I've seen this with 3 or 4 different tech people. There's no longer a direct line for the technicians. They call the regular ass helpline and wait on hold.
Yeah.
So these 2 guys whose stomachs I can
that.
hear growling and clearly are done and want to go are sitting, like, hanging out on hold to get a hold of a Bell technician at the headquarters to literally just tell them, yo, dude, turn this
switch.
modem, turn the modem on, activate the account.
Yeah.
Why is the account not activated? Because it was supposed to have been activated the day before, but it didn't. And then my favorite part, the argument between the tech in my house and the guy on the phone, because the code he had to send over, you know, the modem code, had 4 F's in a row on it, which constantly fucked the guy up on the other end of the phone. He had written 3, he had written 5, like, just like actual fucking comedy of errors. It took like 45 minutes for this dude's phone call. Then we do the setup. Okay, dude, type in your fucking number, type in your name. It's gonna ask you for an email, contact email. Type it in. I'm like, okay, it's offering me a Bell email because they do that service. I'm like, okay, I type in a Bell email that I want. Website hangs and gets stuck, and we try and back out, and it goes, no, you need to give us your email. and we end up restarting the entire process because the website just demands this process be done in a certain way, but then breaks.
But it collapsed in the middle
every time.
of it.
Like, wow, this is a really good
Like,
endorsement.
Reminds me of Windows setup. Yeah.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Okay.
So we dodge the email. He sets it up. It's finally done. Test it. Wow, it is the fastest internet I have ever used. I have 100 megabytes down, 100 megabytes up. Like, it's fast, and it has been completely reliable and amazing. And those guys have been very nice and shook their hands. I wanted to hug them. I was so thankful that they helped out. They left.
You want to hug Bell?
I wanted to hug the person who busted their ass cabling my house.
Wearing a Bell uniform.
Yeah. Actually, it wasn't a Bell uniform. It was just a workman's.
Oh, okay.
And then my favorite part of the whole day is that I went to bed because I was tired. And that's how I got started on the 2 sleeps a day, because I went to bed at like 1 p.m., right? And I get a phone call about an hour and a half later. Hello, Mr. Boivet. I just wanted to ask if you're happy with your service. So I thought, because like companies do this, they'll call me like, "Were the techs cool?"
Yeah,
They
give us a little survey on
thing.
how things went.
That's what I'm expecting. It's not that. It's Videotron.
Oh,
They're like, I'm like,
retention got through to you,
and I'm like, what? Pardon? Yeah, it seems fine, because he didn't announce himself as Videotron. He just said,
yeah.
And it was like, well, because I have this request from Bell to transfer your customer data over to them. Is something wrong with your Videotron internet service? And I go, yeah, it doesn't fucking work. And he goes, well, I don't have any calls on your file or any maintenance report. I'm like, you sent 2 guys out here. You sent one guy to my house, and then you sent a different guy to my neighborhood and recabled the whole neighborhood, and they don't fucking work, and squirrels ate my cables. You don't have that? It's like, well, sir, is there anything that we can do to... I'm like, you can give me the money back that I lost from not working. He goes, I can't really do that. But there's when is your Bell service due to be installed? I'm like, oh, they finished about an hour and a half ago. And you hear the tone just go, oh, so they already installed it. I'm like, yeah, it's really fast. It's very good. Goes, well, I'm very sorry to hear that, sir. I hope that in the future you can come back to us. I'm sure if you had called me, we could have sent a superstar down to your house to fix your internet.
A superstar.
A superstar. I remember the word so vividly because I was so blown away.
Like a Kirby superstar?
Yeah. I'm like, well, you sent 2
like a Mario
and they
superstar?
couldn't fix your shitty service.
Okay.
So I don't know what you want from me. And he goes, well, thank you for using goodbye, sir. Like,
so, I mean, I guess Bell did do the thing.
Oh, totally.
But then they have a second layer of retention.
Which is like but it's too late.
Yeah.
It's way too late.
Okay.
And you actually get to enjoy telling them, like, because they try to sell it to you and you go, no, it's done, dude. Your modem is off the wall.
I just refuse to see Bell as the protagonist in this situation.
They're not. I'm the protagonist in this situation.
if you say so. I mean, that's foibles. That's foibles, but they continue to follow you wherever you go, and I don't know what to say, dude. I'll tell you what. I had a service interruption yesterday.
Yeah.
Around 2 a.m. Internet stopped working.
Just stopped. Yeah.
And I was like, "What's up with that?" Did a router restart. Didn't work. I was like, "Okay."
Not on me. Not on you then.
Plugged the modem out. Waited 3 minutes. Plugged it back in. Took another 5, and then it started working again. And I was like, "Okay, cool."
Yeah.
You know.
I was having just the internet was straight up down for like 12 hours at one point, and then like it would just die like that, and it was only the upload, which I'm going to assume most customers don't even notice.
Not going to notice when that's gone,
but I notice, and you would notice.
Yeah.
And it's like, fuck. But internet fast, good now. And I got to see. Here's the thing: I've switched between Bell and Videotron enough now that I hate them both. I fucking fucking hate them both. They're so awful.
But you have no choice.
I have one choice, and it's one or the other. And or a subsidiary that's independent that is still one or the other.
Yeah, I'd rather go that way personally.
So
I know the problem comes down to the communication points when they have to call the number and sit there on the phone with you.
Yeah.
But I still much rather.
I have used one of those internet services, the independents, back in the day.
Mm-hmm.
And as infuriating as this problem was to solve, if it was one of the indies, it would have been more than twice as long, because the Bell or Videotron rep that they send out to your house to work for, say, Tech Savvy, knows they're out there for Tech Savvy.
Yeah.
And they don't give a shit.
I know. Fortunately, I've had a couple solid uninterrupted years of Tech Savvy.
Yeah.
So I've been pretty nice about it wherever I've been, because it's like I've just gotten that lucky. But they've been fine, and I switched to Tech Savvy from another independent before that. So, until I have a reason to complain about it.
I think the funniest part about all of this is that the internet that I have now with Bell is proper fiber optic cable into the back of my computer. It's the fastest internet I've ever used. And I'm like, wait a second. But I had fiber from Bell at my old apartment right before I bought the current house. That's weird, shouldn't? And that one wasn't nearly as fast as this. Let's do some Googling. Tap it, tap, tap, tap it, tap.
Fiber.
2015 to 2017 in Quebec, there was a class action lawsuit from Bell customers due to its fiber optic cable internet service not actually being a fiber optic cable internet service, it being called what's termed fiber to the node, which is fiber optic cable to your local telephone box, and then coax cable from
your box to your house.
Yeah. And I'm like, the apartment that I had, that was totally built in like 2015, 2016.
They had billboards and giant metro ads with the word fiber on them.
Yeah.
And
they lost that lawsuit. So now they send guys out
to... Well, yeah. If you're lying, you shouldn't win a lawsuit.
They lost it super hard. Videotron now, however, hilariously enough, is doing the exact... Videotron, if you go to their website, it says fiber optics. And then in the deep-ass fine print, it says... Fiber optics will be routed to your neighborhood, but a coaxial cable will be used to connect from the node to your house.
Dude, delivery service Uber Eats so fast, the car is going to drive from the restaurant to within a mile of your house, and then the guy's going to get out on foot and hoof that last mile to your front door.
That is absolute. It's the fastest service in the world.
Light speed from the restaurant to 1 mile outside, and then he's going to hoof it.
Then he's going to walk. Yeah. God, I hate having to care about this, right? It should be, it's a utility.
It should be background. It should be at this point.
And currently it is. And there was a hidden benefit to this, which is I discovered why every time I spoke to someone at Bell, they were like, do you want the TV also? I'm like, no, I don't want the fucking TV. It's only $10 extra. Yeah, and I don't want it.
You want the landline though?
No, they don't offer that anymore. They don't even ask. They don't even give a shit.
That's surprising.
Okay. But they come in and they pull out the biggest motherfucking modem I have ever seen. It is the size of your laptop.
Really?
Yeah.
Oh.
It's fucking gigantic. And I'm like, oh. Is that thing so bad? Yeah, because it's got the TV hookup. It's the same box.
Yeah, okay.
I'm like, okay. So I put it behind the TV, and when the guys leave, I log into it, and I'm like, wow, this is actually a really high-end modem. You know how much of a... I'm sure you're familiar with how much of a pain in the ass port forwarding is. Mm-hmm. This thing actually port forwards really easily. It lists devices based on their MAC address, and you can set port forward rules according to the MAC address. You don't need static IP.
What was the difference in price plan between the Switch to this?
It's $15 less.
Okay.
Than the way shittier service I had with Videotron.
Okay.
So, they offered me, nothing. Like, what were they gonna offer me? I'll keep your shitty internet service that doesn't work. For what?
For more. Yeah.
For more. Like, what? How much can you discount it before I even start to listen?
Mm-hmm.
Like a third, like 2/3 of the. They're not gonna cut it 2/3. Like, fuck off. Get the fuck out of here. Get the fuck out of here.
What about the superstar, though?
What about that superstar?
I
couldn't believe the audacity. I'm like, why didn't you just send a guy out to fix it on, like...
Also, I'm picturing, like Jean-Claude with his fucking Timbs in his hand and his case in the other.
Yeah.
Like, with the boot stains tracking into your house, and it just says the word superstar. It's like,
why squeeze the video tone? Why?
Sweet superstar? C'est quoi ça, superstar?
Why? Okay. C'est le câble. So, yeah, that's been like there was the moment during the day that Videotron ostensibly fixed my internet by recabling the whole fucking block that I streamed, and my stream kept going down. Like, dude, I was gonna like cry. Like, I'm sure if you go back and look at how awesome and excited I am when I come back on video, but like, dude, I have been trying to work a honest day for like 2 weeks, and I just can't. It's so frustrating.
Shit, I was just gonna ask you about the installation, something about that, but never mind, I forgot. Whatever. Yeah, okay.
Shit, and so now, I mean, it's been since what is it, Monday now? So it's been since Friday or Saturday, whatever. Aces, okay.
Did you do so back in the day, like way back when? Every time I did an internet upgrade, there was always a test download.
That's right.
Of something to just be like, ooh, wow, look at it go.
Yep.
Did you do one this time?
Of course I did. And I took screenshots of it and put it up on Twitter. I downloaded the entirety of Resident Evil 2 on PC in 3.5 minutes.
Okay.
Which is fucking fast.
How big is that?
It's 29 gigs.
Okay.
And I'm like,
yeah. There was always something as a benchmark.
Yeah.
Besides actually doing a
and the test. Other benchmark was go to YouTube and do you even get to see the part where it goes from 360p to 1080? No, you don't. So that's how God hath blighted me. Squirrels and internet companies.
Squirrels chew the lines. That's
right through the lines.
The most old school of problems.
And so I asked
to be dealing with in 2019.
So I asked the guy, he's like, squirrels? He's like, yeah, squirrels just chew on cables. I'm like, is there anything I can do about that? He's like, call us when they chew through them the next time. And he's like, I recabled all of it. Should last a couple years.
Like, that sounds like a lie that like a dad tells a kid about why something isn't working.
So I got in touch with a guy that I know and it's just like who works for ISPs.
Sounds more like it's just like bad quality cables that die.
Or has worked with ISPs, rather. And it's like, yes, animals totally chew through cables.
Oh, man.
That is a real thing. And one of the better reasons to upgrade to fiber is that fiber cable has way, way more insulation on the cable and is thus way harder for animals to chew through.
There's something like a little like poetic about the fastest, craziest internet technology being brought to you, yet an interruption can be caused by something as simple as a fucking squirrel on a line going like you'd think we'd be past that.
It might have not been squirrels, because the issues actually started a couple days after a raccoon went nuts in my yard.
Okay.
This big, fat raccoon was screaming and knocking over garbage cans and throwing a hissy fit in my backyard and crawling up the side of my house and all sorts of shit. He was super pissed. Adorable. Big, fat raccoon. But the problem started a couple days later, and I'm like, did that motherfucker try and bite through our cables?
Like, it's like, imagine if it's like, oh, yeah, sorry about the bad Wi-Fi. There's too many seagulls in the area. Just disrupting the signal.
I don't know if you
by
guys know
existing.
this. Seagulls transmit their own Wi-Fi signal.
And the noise just weakens your own Wi-Fi. So, again, amazing technology unless nature happens to be right there and just be fucking with it.
Well,
and you got to find a way around it.
In doing more research, I discovered that the problem probably wasn't even actually squirrels, right? They had corroded the cable bad. But the problem existed even after it was all recabled, right? So I do some looking, and coax cable's just a copper wire, right? Which means it's vulnerable to electronic interference. Which means one of my neighbors probably had some kind of new device that was blasting magnetic fields outside, just outside their walls, directly into everyone's cables, just enough to fuck it up.
Seagulls.
Basically,
seagulls.
Yeah.
And the seagulls, they run on WEP. Right.
They don't use WPA2.
They don't use WPA2.
Yeah, they're back on web.
They use the old shit.
Yeah.
The solved form of encryption. But
it's like,
yep, that's where we're at.
The only
Yep.
So like the guys are sitting in my house and they're sitting on hold, and I can hear the hold music through the dude's phone, and he's just like, because he can't leave until the job is done. And all I can think of is, God, I want these guys out of my house. But also, man, that sucks for them. But also, the only upside to this is that at least someone will get to laugh at my expense when I tell this story on the podcast.
Which is the one reason to continue living, I suppose.
Right. It's like, all my misery is just content for later. Just content for later.
It's, I will say something that, like, the existence of that in life, like a reason to deflect.
At least I'll get a story out of it.
Yeah, it's a bit like almost like when you're a comedian and you have the ability to laugh at your bomb or call out your bomb in a way where you're immune, whether you you try and you fail and then you can turn it into a success.
Mm-hmm.
It's that, right? You can always turn the bad into good if it happens to be bad enough. If it happens to fall in the middle and it's not as interesting or entertaining, then unfortunately you get nothing.
Yeah.
But the bad feels out of it. But good for you.
Yeah. Well, problem solved for now. Crossing fingers. It's nice to have fast internet again. Fast.
I wonder, if there will ever be, is it going to be a generation or 3 before there's actually a different... No, you know what it's going to take to get out of the clutches of Videotron and Bell?
What's that?
A brand new type of internet that is not something that they can lay down first.
Well, I have bad news for you. The main talking with people, ISP people that on Twitter or whatnot, you discover that. So you have your fiber, right? But it doesn't improve your ping. It'll improve your download upload because your pipe is fat.
Yeah.
Right. But you're running into a technical problem, and the technical problem is the speed of light can only go so fucking fast.
Certainly.
And
through conversion.
Well, fiber optics is speed of light plus decoding.
Yes.
Satellites, right? That get really good, sure. Stuff like that. But in terms of cables, this is kind of the end.
But we were always told about those fat ass Pentagon pipes,
Yeah, but
and those fat ass CIA
pipes.
Yeah,
I have a small version of that fat ass pipe in my house right now. It's the same fucking thing.
Doesn't get any fatter.
No. Well, the Pentagon pipes, they get bigger, and there's more of them jammed into one thing. But the actual technology is still just like a superheated piece of glass that pulses light. You can make the pipe fatter and fatter and fatter, but it can't go faster because light is light.
Right. You can pay for more to get through.
Reminds me of looking at some TED Talk a million years ago about graphics card technology. The processors.
Yep.
It's like they have to keep making them smaller because the way processors are getting faster is because by making them smaller, light travels slightly less distance in the diode or whatever the fuck it is. I was like,
well, I mean, that we just to be real, we just haven't hit like organic computers yet.
Well,
We haven't started hatching those.
If you want to get real sci-fi craziness with quantum entanglement, you can actually go faster than the speed of light. But that requires you to be able to willingly quantum entangle things, which is not a thing.
How fast do you need your big porns?
Yeah, quantum fast. So the biggest upside to this was pointed out to me, forget by whom, but it was that now if I were to try Stadia, right, there will be a Stadia development studio in Montreal, and I have Montreal's fastest fiber optic cable, and it is being rated as like it's actual, they say up to certain speed. I'm actually totally getting that speed. So I have about as fast and as an ideal as an internet as you can get to a nearby Stadia thing. I am in the position to test these types of things under actual ideal conditions. And if they still suck ass, then that shit is doomed like literally forever. Because the technology is wrong.
You could always get your hands on... we'll get to that. We'll get to it. We'll get to it. Yeah, okay.
Yeah. So, did all that crap. Do you have any particular blighted stories, or do you just want to jump right into video games?
I mean, in terms of a week,
Yeah.
I'll take my turn.
Yeah, go ahead. We'll circle on back.
We finally finished River City Girls, and
Did you get both endings?
no,
Okay.
so got the first one,
Yeah.
and unfortunately, kind of in the process of just dicking around, because like it's like unlocking extra characters, awesome. That's
Yes.
such a good thing for a game like that to have. You all like just beat 'em ups live and die on how many characters you can play as and how much you can do, and like with each character having a pretty extended move list, like it's really nice to see, oh shit, here's more for you.
There's a lot.
So that was really cool. But after doing, so you have two options after you beat the game. You can do loiter, which is continue in the world, or you can start a new game plus. So I was curious to see if there was specific cutscenes for the unlockable characters. So after doing, I did loiter, dicked around with them a little bit, and then started a new game plus just to see. And in both cases, it says you're not going to lose your progress, because like whatever you've leveled up and unlocked up to that point stays with the two main characters.
Yeah.
But I didn't look up the requirements for the secret ending before that point. And unfortunately, starting a new game plus kind of pushes you back.
I'll tell you what, that it's not actually a different ending. It is a different final boss.
Yeah.
But the ending remains like almost identical.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Oh.
Which surprised me, because I thought the ending was going to be different.
Yeah.
Considering how the game ends originally.
So because I saw the final boss thing, but
it gives you a little more context for what the fuck the deal with the ending is.
Okay.
And it's really weird, because we're talking about River City Girls, which is a beat 'em up, like lighthearted beat 'em up that has a really crazy ending.
Okay.
I was very surprised when I got to the end of that game.
I actually called it early on in playing the game. That was quite, but it was it was pretty wild that they went for it anyway. But in terms of like getting the second ending though, it's based on beating it and then going and getting all these collectibles and then going to get a final boss fight in a different area. And those collectibles you have to get, like if you restart a new game plus, you no longer have access to those areas. You have to rebeat those bosses and get through the things, the game again. So I didn't realize I was just locking myself out of that. So that's
on the plus side, Kunio is busted.
Kunio seems pretty cool.
His flame upper thing is busted.
Ricky looks way cooler though.
Way cooler. I was really disappointed, because Kunio is like an objectively better fighter right off the bat, but Ricky is way cooler.
Yeah, and in fact, Ricky looks what I thought Kunio would look like translated into.
Really?
Yeah. because
Kunio always had like the jacket.
but Kunio, like the little icon Japanese, Kunio, like to me that like it's like a Japanese student guy. So the Ricky that shows up here that's like not looking like a Japanese student, and Rick Kunio the with the white jacket and the orange hair, whereas Ricky is like super Japanese student, not a bancho, but like still got the open coat.
He's
and
like more bancho because he's just removed
like
the shirt entirely.
Slick, version of it. Like to me that design is more of the Japanese student aesthetic I was expecting.
Kyoko and Ricky are the power couple here. It's like the other girl and whatever her name is. I forget her fucking name. And Kunio, they're okay, I guess.
Yeah, no, like it, but it, and I didn't realize either that like because the whole time I was playing as Kyoko, I didn't realize that like move list wise, she's way more limited. As well, she doesn't have the ability to jump cancel stuff as frequently. She doesn't have the ability to interrupt certain strings. Like in terms of like advanced combo shit and whatnot, almost every combo you see is for. Wow, God, what's her name?
I think you said it backwards.
Wait, am I?
Kyoko's the redhead. You were playing as.
Sorry.
Miyako?
Misako. Sorry, other way around. Sorry, Kyoko has everything for.
Misako's really grounded.
And she gets less technicality in terms of your moveset. But I like Misako better.
Yeah.
Like I'm one of those people.
Of
where
course
I'm just like, yeah. Well, design wise, I much prefer that. Yeah. But it's unfortunate.
I like Kyoko much better.
Yeah.
Because of course I do.
Yeah. It's unfortunate that like there is a depth.
I was still really baffled that Kyoko was player 1.
Inequality
because
of that.
Misako looks like player 1.
Again, yeah, I thought all the marketing was implying that as well.
Yeah. But then you get to the fucking start screen and it's like, oh, okay, sure. All right.
Yeah. And it's like it's also just like it's not just like it's not just short hair bait. It's attitude wise. Come on, I'd much rather the tough girl, than the soft one in a context like this. Even though they're both batshit crazy.
Well, hey, what do I say? I got a thing for ditzy redheads.
Yeah. So yeah, that's a pleasant surprise with an unpleasant surprise to just. My curiosity being punished, and it turns out there are no cutscenes for the new characters. It'd be too much.
That'd be a lot of work.
It'd be too much.
That'd be a lot.
Hey,
now that you've beaten it, how about that fucking soundtrack?
Oh yeah,
like because when we first spoke, you had only played about an hour, so you'd heard a couple of the fancier tracks, but they just keep going and going and going and going. It's incredible.
The Mall. The song from The Mall is just fucking power. That shit is fire. I don't know. I
believe it's called The Hunt.
Okay.
I listen to it on occasion when I'm doing whatever bullshit because it's fucking great.
Yeah. Megan McDuffie. Massive shout outs for composing and singing.
Good job, Noise.
Just awesome. So, yeah. Good shit. So yeah, beat that.
You sure did. You sure did, Wooly.
And I watched.
You beat it right off.
Yep, there you go. And then watched.
Beat off the. All right.
Yes, I masturbated the video game.
Yes, you did.
And then I watched. Dolomite Is My Name.
So that's the mockumentary. Oh no, pseudo documentary about.
It's not.
What the fuck is it?
It is a fictionalized retelling. Right. It is of the story of Dolomite, with Rudy Ray Moore as played by Eddie Murphy.
Yeah.
And his team. Including Keegan-Michael Key, Titus Burgess, Mike Epps, fucking what's his name? Wesley Snipes.
Really?
Like,
Really?
yeah.
He's out of jail?
He's in not only is he out of jail, but he is in the fucking movie. And actually has a moment in the movie where he straight up says, "Use it. Use it.
Shut up.
Use
Shut
it.
up. Shut up.
I
Shut
swear
up.
to God." He has a use it moment in this movie. And I was like, is that? No, there's no. It was pure coincidence. There's no way. There's no way that could have been.
I doubt he even remembers.
Yeah,
Blade
exactly. At this point. Yeah, so paid his taxes and got to be in the movie. And
I don't think he paid his taxes. I think he paid his taxes with time.
Yes, paid his taxes with his time.
Well, I suppose so.
And I mean, you also have to. You don't just go to jail and not pay them.
Yeah.
Because then how many people would just be like, yeah, I'll take some time, you know?
Yeah, I suppose so.
No, you got to pay them and then go. So anyway, it was pretty funny. All in all, like you like there were some parts of it that were like definitely super like almost like TV movie corny, but for the most part, it was pretty hilarious. Because you're looking at, I don't know if you know anything about Dolomite.
I do. I've watched Dolomite.
Okay, right?
That's why I was so excited when Black Dynamite got announced.
Yes, exactly. Because Black Dynamite is just carrying that torch. And funny enough, like, Black Dynamite is what Dolomite thinks he is.
Yeah.
And Bullhorn is what Dolomite actually is.
Yeah.
Right? That's the important distinction. That's the thing to understand is like, actual Dolomite was not at all like Black Dynamite, where Michael Jai White was just like buff and actually like capable.
Yeah.
He's more like this fucking out of shape, dumb guy.
Dolomite.
But he's so smooth talking, and he's got the lines, and he's you know, Godfather of rap is one of the terms they use, because like, you know, all the stories about him and like his ability to just like fuck all night,
yeah,
and fuck anybody up. And just, again, really smooth talk his way, like Muhammad Ali style, you know, like that same train of thought, that it all came from that same place. And yeah, this just goes into that history, and it's just a fun like recreation of like a lot of those scenes that you know from the movie.
It's like a fucking Ed Wood for blaxploitation with Rudy Ray Moore.
Yes, it is like Ed Wood for blaxploitation, and it's also like Dolomite is like Black Austin Powers.
Yeah.
Right? Everything that you get that Austin Powers is about and what it's making fun of and whatnot, it's like that same thing from that era.
I'll be honest, like when I watched Dolomite, I look back on it, I thought it was like more ridiculous than Black Dynamite, because Black Dynamite would pan the camera for like a laugh and Dolomite did not. Dolomite was played straight and serious.
And again, like Michael Jai White happens to be a talented martial artist.
Yeah.
Right?
And gigantic.
And Dolomite is not. He's some fucking middle-aged chubbo who's just making a lot of Bruce Lee motions, you know, doing
these terrible little spin kicks. It's so bad.
And they're doing, and you know, it's what black people in the 70s thought kung fu was, you know, and doing their best to just like
right before Show Enough.
It was, yeah, and it's a good time. It's a good time. It's on Netflix. Go check it out. And I think, yeah, if you watch Dolomite,
how's Eddie Murphy in it?
I think he does a pretty good job. Like, I know Eddie Murphy he signed on for that, and he has another special like tied to them. But as far as him playing Rudy Ray Moore goes, like it's pretty solid. He's still Eddie.
Yeah.
More than anything else.
He can't not be.
He can't not be, you know? It's not going to be like Joaquin, you know,
Denzel or somebody who
Denzel
just disappears into the role.
Entirely, right?
Yeah.
I'll even say like, yeah, and exactly. Some people just disappear into the character, like
Bale, if I remember correctly, with all his movies, all his method bullshit.
Certainly that. Daniel Day.
Yeah.
You know.
Daniel Day's really good. Actually, yeah. That probably.
Right. We were talking about Anthony Hopkins.
Yeah.
How like it's like, oh, he'll never not be Hannibal. Fuck you. Like every other role he does.
Then you have what I would call your classic Hollywood actor, where it's like, I'm going to see the movie because Brad Pitt is in it, and or George Clooney, and they're gonna Brad Pitt and George Clooney all over this shit.
I wouldn't have thought Will Smith could do it, and then Ali, same kind of thing, right? But in this case, he's still Eddie, right? He's still Eddie for sure. But it's still fine, and especially gives the time.
Is he trying?
He's trying.
Okay.
And the movie's funny, right? Like it's about like it's meant to come off like funny, so it's like it works. And yeah, no, all that to say that like in the same way that you can appreciate like what was it? What came out recently? That the Disaster Artist,
right?
Kind of how they just recreated scenes like in that way. Like you get to see them shoot scenes from Dolomite.
Oh, that's weird.
Recreated in the process of making it with this cast, and it adds some context to what was going on. There's some shit I was not aware of, like from the origins of like where he came from and stuff. That
this is a bit off topic, but have you ever seen The Thing with Two Heads? I think it's called.
No.
It is the fucking craziest of the blaxploitation movies that I've seen. It's an old racist rich white guy has to save his life by transplanting his head onto a black dude.
Oh, I've seen the poster for that. I've seen the poster for that movie. It is the weirdest buddy cop like tag along ever. And as a result of the movie's terrible effects, because it's literally just two guys standing close to, like, one guy's got his chin on the other guy's shoulder, the last 45 minutes of the film is a car chase in a field with like 35 cop cars, because it's the only way they can film a scene with both of them talking to each other. Wow.
Because one guy's in the back seat under a big coat.
Yeah.
Just going like, it's fucking so dumb.
Daryl Philbin's in it as well. Whatchamacallit, Office, Hot Tub Time Machine.
Oh, right. Okay.
Not Patrice.
Fuck. That sucks for him.
The un-Patrice.
I like him.
He's great.
But that sucks for him.
I'm sorry.
Darren Philbin?
Daryl Philbin.
Daryl Philbin.
Yeah.
Hey, Daryl Philbin.
He can do what
he's good. I like him.
He's good. What he lacks in O'Neill raw comedic power is made up for with the fact that he can sing. And they use
I did not know he could sing.
They use it in this, and they use it in Hot Tub Time Machine a lot.
You know what? I should have known that, because he's got that soft comedy voice.
Yeah.
That usually goes.
Hey man.
Yeah, and just a lot of like a lot of his humor is done soft. Just like, I don't know about this guys.
Is you serious right now?
Darren Philbin.
Yeah. And he's great.
Yeah, no. Now I remember why you because they would hire him when Patrice would be too crazy to work with.
When Patrice refused to actually do shit, on the set. Craig Robinson. Am I stupid?
Yeah, no, wait, that's his name. That's why I couldn't recognize his name, because his name is Craig Robinson.
Yes, he's Daryl on The Office. That's correct. So, yeah, there you go.
Who the fuck is Darren Philbin?
The character.
Okay.
My mistake. I completely.
I'm sorry, Craig.
I completely. Yeah.
Mr. Robinson, if you listen to our podcast,
yeah.
I'm very sorry.
Anyway, I watched a lot of The Office, not recently.
Is it good?
Yeah. You know what? I finally lightened up on it, because I used to definitely be like, man, British Office.
Yeah.
It's not that, and then it isn't. It becomes its own thing, and like I will say, like, whatever, I talked about it before, but it's just like it took a while, but eventually I was like, okay, yeah, this is fine being its own sort of separate thing, but I do prefer the pure cringe.
Well, it's because that's British humor. British humor is pathetic and embarrassing and sad. Whereas, you know what? That appeals to me more. than a lot of American humor, which is very zany and happy.
It's super short, you know, like it's like British seasons, so they're like it's barely like
British. You gotta get longer seasons. I don't know what's up with you guys.
Well, you know, like I said, I don't mind that stuff, but I didn't realize that like apparently I'm one of a group of people that are like you know, office hipsters or whatever. Like people are just like, oh, I only like the original. And stuff.
Yeah,
like
you're
I didn't know that was a thing.
You're England-aboos or whatever. You fucking whatever the weeaboo is for Brits.
Tiaboos.
Tiaboos? Is that real? Or did you just invent that?
It's a chat.
Okay, Tiaboos.
Tiaboos. Yeah. So, I mean, here's the thing, right? I'm
Paul Revere was worried about that shit.
Like, that works in that context, but not every show has a superior British version.
No, that's not true.
You know?
No.
No. I don't even. I glanced at that British House of Cards and I was like, ooh, I don't know about that. But anyway,
British House of Cards is just everyone's drunk all the time, if I remember correctly. Parliament's like the U.S. Senate with a 3-drink minimum. I think the joke goes.
Yeah, but then you see the current events, the current goings-ons, where the dude at the speaker is yelling, and then someone in a robe and with the wig called Black Rod shows up, and Black Rod has to march in, and this guy that's yelling is super like, I know you're doing the Queen's service, but this is an outrage, and I'm just like, what? What is happening right now? Is this real?
It's tradition.
That shit was wild. It was incredible.
Well, I like
order.
How old were you? Oh man, I'm gonna blow open Canada real bad on this one.
That clip of just of the dude freaking out as someone walks up to escort him in this full cosplay.
Well, how old were you when, because of American TV, you were unaware?
What did I say?
You discovered that Canadian lawyers and judges wear fancy little robes instead of suits.
I mean,
because I learned it from, I shit you not, an episode of Law and Order in which they go extradite a guy who got over the Canadian border. And they show the Canadian courtroom, and everybody's wearing the fancy little robes. And I remember going, "What the fuck is that?" And my dad's like, "That's what they wear in court."
That's what they do. I tell you what, like I've seen, you know, again, I've seen people walking around in them robes downtown, going to Subway, trying to get a fucking sandwich.
It's weird,
you know, doing their thing.
It's super weird.
But part of
seeing what you're talking about too. Yeah, I've seen them there too.
But part of seeing this, like. Part of seeing it in this context that I'm describing with this fucking Black Rod shit was like, oh, this works way better when it's just a painting in your head.
Oh, yeah.
And when you're staring at the real thing, you're like, are we on stage right now?
Yes.
Is this a costume?
Yes.
What the fuck am I looking at?
Pomp and circumstance, man.
Oh. It was amazing.
It's a structure that's existed for longer than the New World. Therefore, it's built towards the sensibilities of its time. Whereas, like, let's take the Americans. The Americans, like the way their their government looks, is built towards the sensibilities of what 1790.
Sure.
But
there's
suits,
always
overcoats, you know, like.
But there's always a point in time where someone gets the job and goes, "Okay, come on, I'm not doing. Come on,
so I gotta wear the wig with the ruffles.
I get it's tradition, but it come on, right? And it just depends on how much time passes, whether it's 1, 2, 300 years. You know what I mean? Like whatever the case is. And yeah, we're not in one of the new countries of the new world. This is the fucking old land, you know? So like you're gonna have these traditions from way back when that carry forward, but at some point it's like, nah, we still gotta put on this giant fucking this wizard cosplay.
Yes, this wizard cosplay.
And I have to march in holding this stick, and do whatever the implication is of what this holding this stick means based on the queen's duty. I don't know, but it's amazing.
It's fucking it's zany. It's zany goofballs.
Yeah, full on sidetracked by Black Rod. In fact, that was a while ago. I'm kind of disappointed that we didn't get Black Rod fan art. That we didn't get it's the kind of thing that you would hope that Japanese Twitter just latches onto and just starts drawing Oekaki of, you know what I mean? Of just Black Rod descending from the mount on a horse and going all the way in, or just super Bishi Black Rod with a giant version of the rod slung over the shoulder like a Buster sword. I don't know. I was just hoping that would go somewhere that it didn't.
So what you're saying is that the Simpsons versus Australia episode is par for the course for the Commonwealth.
What I'm saying is
fucking goofy shit going on in the Commonwealth nations' courts and parliaments.
What I'm saying is you should check out My Name is Dolomite.
Yes. You should probably do that. That movie looks good. Wooly saw it. He says it's cool.
Sorry, Craig. Daryl.
I'm sure he doesn't care what his own name is.
You know the face we talked about a second ago where he's just like, is he serious right now?
Yeah.
That's what he says in response to being called Daryl.
That's right.
Yeah. Whatever. That's fine. Leave it there. Let's take a quick word from our sponsors.
Let's do.
This week, the podcast is sponsored by DoorDash.
Hey, DoorDash, what's up?
Well, earlier we made reference to the idea of food being delivered and then the person
getting out of their car
and walking to your door and it taking long and whatnot happening. That's not what this is about.
No, DoorDash doesn't do that.
No, DoorDash...
They drive the car to very close to your home.
I mean, quite frankly, if they could drive it up your staircase and to your door, and if the deliverer can wind the window down
and just hand it off like a reverse drive-through,
they probably would. They would reverse drive through your food to you if possible.
Now that's not feasible, ever.
But what is feasible is the next best thing, was where they speedily deliver your food right to your front door.
Find a parking spot on your street
and bring it as close to you as they can within reasonable distance. Because
physics.
But maybe one day we can defeat those physics.
Perhaps.
I have faith. In any case, not only are you getting your food super fast right to where you are, but you're getting a choice from all your favorite restaurants in your city. You've got all the mom and pops. You've got all the major chains you like. All 50 states and Canada. You can order from local go-tos. And you've got your Wendy's, you got your Chipotle, you got your Cheesecake Factory on there. Don't worry about dinner. Let dinner come to you with DoorDash. And mayhaps one day that delivery can drive right up to the porch and hand you your bag.
If you're crazy, if you want to go nuts, you can remodel your house to put a window outside in your driveway.
If you want to embrace the future, you might as well let the street curb just completely drive right up to your, not even your front door, but the window of your room.
Well, but you remodel your house so that your driveway, the wall that would border your driveway, put a window in that, put a sign saying food here.
Yeah.
And then just lie on the floor and open your mouth and just say, just toss it through the window.
You can embrace the reverse drive-through by even having a little sign, like a drive-through, that says hey,
food delivery here.
Come through, and they drive on up, and then you got the window, and you just chuck it right in.
Just pour the drink into the window. I'm here.
Society will eventually catch up, but you can be ahead of the curb. But before you do that, you're gonna want to head on down to download the DoorDash app, because right now our listeners can get $5 off their first order of $15 or more when you download the DoorDash app and enter promo code CASTLE. That's $5 off your first order when you download the DoorDash app from the App Store and enter promo code CASTLE. Don't forget promo code CASTLE for $5 off your first order from DoorDash.
Thanks, DoorDash.
Thank you. The podcast is also sponsored this week by Away.
Hey, Away. What's up?
Sometimes you want things brought to you, but other times you need to go to other places.
You need to have you brought somewhere else.
And when you want you brought somewhere else, you want your stuff brought with you.
Ideally.
And you don't want your stuff brought with you in shoddy, breakable, terrible, weak, bullshit bags. You want a good suitcase that you can rely on.
Protect your items.
I have traveled many places this year. I have more traveling to do, and the best suitcase I've owned is an Away suitcase. I continue to 100% push that because it's solid. It is hard. It comes with a chargeable battery in it, so that you don't have to worry about your phone or whatever devices. If you want to charge your Switch or your laptop, whatever's going on, you have one of these things locked right into the case. You can pull it out so that you can board the plane properly with it. And yeah, tons of colors and styles to choose from. It's got a hard protective case on it. It's got the wheels. It's got everything I'm looking for. And inside, it's even got a little laundry bag that you can put your dirty clothes in. And so you don't have to figure out what corner of the hotel room to throw your gross stuff in.
I feel like a stupid child when I do that. But what other option do I have?
Pick a corner that you don't particularly care about and throw your gross stuff in it.
And if guests are coming over, throw your jacket over that corner.
Yeah. Like an animal.
Yeah.
We don't do that anymore. You get the little Away bag. It unrolls. It takes up no space when it's folded up, and then when it's ready to go, it clips on to the bottom of the inside of the case and hangs out of it, so you literally have a laundry bag set up. It's perfect. Genius. In addition to the space dividers and the compressor that you can tighten to push down anything that's protruding too much, so that it all fits in perfectly tight. So you want to absolutely try out an Away suitcase. There's a 100-day trial, lets you try any Away product on the road. That's a lot of days to figure out whether or not you like an amazing suitcase, quite frankly. And yeah, they've got a range of unique personalization offerings, including hand painting, TSA approved combination locks, all the features I mentioned, and more. So you can get that there's either the carry-on or there's the bigger carry-on, which has even more space for stuff and still fits into an overhead compartment. Like, it pushes it to the max in terms of how it's going to fit into that little, case that says, like, yo, you want to get on the plane, your bag has to fit into this.
Yeah.
Like, it to the millimeter fits into that thing, but it does. And I used it, and I've carried an arcade stick, a PlayStation 4, and all my clothes and my Switch in my Away case.
Really?
And traveled with it.
Okay, that's a lot.
It's awesome. It's awesome. So, really handy for me traveling to tournaments. If you want to check it out, you can head on down to awaytravel.com/beast and use promo code BEAST for $20 off a suitcase. So that's $20 off a suitcase by using promo code BEAST during checkout at awaytravel.com/beast.
Thanks, Away.
Thanks, Away. Yeah, there's quite a few stories this week.
Well, hold on. I had more week to go.
Oh, I'm
sorry. We're
sorry.
gonna circle around. Remember?
I didn't. I thought. Whoa. Okay.
Because because I was gonna go for a while. I wanted to give you some time to talk. So, but then I was planning to circle around because I played one game of note.
Yes.
This week.
Okay. So your internet was your intro.
That was my blight. And then I was like, do you want to talk about video games? And then you talked about movies and video games.
Tell us about The Outer
How
Worlds.
did you know that's the game I wanted to talk about?
Because everyone is glowing with impressions on how this
So
game...
I want to point out one thing right away. It is the pinnacle of irony that this game has an 85 on Metacritic. because New Vegas getting 84 was the fucking impetus for the path that Obsidian has been riding on for years and years and years. That 84 on New Vegas is what caused them to miss their Metacritic bonus from Bethesda, which caused a decade-long spiral of the company almost going broke over and over and over and over again. So it is hilarious to me that this game has achieved 85. It also gives me great sadness in the way that reviews work, because this game being an 85 and New Vegas being an 84 are fucking crimes. Because you can tell from the instant you play this game that this is going to be something people talk about for a decade. It's going to be fucking incredible. It's not New Vegas 2. It is New Vegas 2 kind of thing.
Did you beat it?
No, not even close. I was only able to start streaming it relatively recently, so I've only put about 10 hours into it. But in that time, I have enjoyed it more than almost any other game this year, with the exception of Outer Wilds, which is very, very confusing.
Pour one out for poor Min, who
I saw that
just can't keep up.
Well, it's extra confusing because Outer Wilds came out last week on PS4.
Yeah, I like we did have. I feel like I had a conversation with him about it when we played it, but yeah, no.
It's
God bless.
It remains very confusing.
Okay, so is this game an 85 to you?
No, this game's incredible. It's probably going to be my game of the year.
So what's up with that?
It's an RPG that had talking in it. People are dumb.
No, I guess I'm going like wherever that score came from. I don't know if you looked into what problems people had with it.
The game gets too easy apparently near the end, and some people don't care for the tone. The tone is. Have you ever played any of the Fallout games?
No,
old ones.
I've tested 3, but it was it was just like compliance work on it. So it wasn't much beyond like.
So this is a lot closer to the first 2 games in that that was actually made by the people who made Outer Worlds. In that Fallout 1 and 2 had this really cheery, chipper, like 50s era nostalgia kind of look to it, contrasted with Nuclear Holocaust.
Yes, I did see the intros
for just the weirdest, happy-go-lucky with bleak horror.
Yeah.
They've traded in the bleak horror of like famine and murder and nuclear wasteland for the bleak horror of working an office job that you don't care about and your boss is an asshole. It is.
Oh, that's super relatable.
It is a perfect game for its time. So the background is that you are going to the outer rim, essentially, of the galaxy, in which corporations literally own planets and run everything. It is far enough away from Earth's government that it's the corporations that run everything. And it is the bleakest, saddest, funniest corporate dystopia I have ever seen in anything. To the point where I was misunderstanding some of the game's plot, because it was bleaker than I thought it could be. The fucking first line of dialogue you hear from a human that you meet on the field is a jingle as he is nursing a gunshot wound. He is legally obligated to open with the company choice, the Spacer's Choice company jingle. And I misheard it about a dozen times because the jingle is, "You've tried the best. Now try the rest. Spacer's Choice." And their radio jingle is, "It's not the best choice. It's Spacer's Choice." It's like, sure. It's cheap garbage.
Yeah, okay.
And it's advertised as cheap garbage.
So the whole tone is bureaucracy greater than human life.
So there is an interaction relatively early on that, you ever play a game and you're like, I hate these people. I want to kill them. Or I hate this town.
I mean, is that not most?
Yeah. I hate this town. I want the ability to burn this town down. You very early on talk to the foreman of the local factory. And she describes to you because you are doing a quest in which you are extorting.
Reddit / late stage capitalism, latest possible
It's the
stage,
latest possible stage. So listen to this.
future era capitalism.
So you're doing a side quest, and the side quest is you are going around town, essentially extorting people to pay up their gravesite rental fees, which they have to pay every year in advance of their death to rent their grave from the company. People are behind on their gravesite fees.
Wow.
So you run into Phyllis. And
wow.
Phyllis is not paying her own gravesite fees. Phyllis is paying Eugene's gravesite fees.
Wait, for their own?
Well, Eugene's already dead, so she has to pay his gravesite fees. And you ask, wait, why are you paying Eugene's gravesite fees? Right? She goes, well, I was his closest living relative because Eugene killed himself. Right? And then she goes on to say that she didn't really like him all that much, and that what he did was really irresponsible for the company. And the dialogue option of one of them is, that's a really fucked up thing to say about a family member. She goes, what? Eugene wasn't family. To which you reply, you literally just told me you were the closest living relative.
Yeah.
And she goes, yeah, I was the closest living person relative to where his body was. I found him, so I get to pay the fine for his grave. And then she goes on to say,
oh, wow.
Suicide's a crime. The technical term for it is irreparable damage of company property. What Eugene did to himself was vandalism. It is the bleakest corporate nightmare. It is the worst. And it is constant.
That is one conversation.
That's one.
Holy shit.
And it's nonstop.
Oh my God, that's intense.
I did my first stream, it was about 5 hours, and I ended it, and it's like anyone who's worked in retail, anyone who's worked in an office with a shitty boss, anybody who's worked service is just like, die. Hey, Wooly.
That is...
Hey, Wooly.
Oh, man.
You'll appreciate this, because
Okay.
I know you've worked in an office in which this probably happened. There's a plague in this city.
Mm-hmm.
The plague is a plague. You are dying.
Yep.
There's an email chain to people describing how, if you have the plague, you know what you should do? You should come to work and work double shifts so that, you can keep your blood moving, and the work will fortify your spirit and help beat the plague. And also, it just so happens that you don't get medicine unless your productivity is high enough.
You're on shift.
I have totally had bosses tell me to come in while I'm sick, and it'll make me feel better.
Okay, so you have to imagine that the team working on this could not possibly have been like you can't have crunch on a game like this.
No, you can't.
Right? Like,
no, you can't.
Something somewhere would just break in the universe.
There's a lot of details that make you feel like the game is screaming at an industry that fucked that company over for a decade.
Yeah, that I could like. The tone of what you just described is...
It's just... Obsidian has gotten fucked over top to bottom by Bethesda, by Microsoft, by tons and tons of companies and times. They got stuck on contract work for like 6-7 years. They got saved by Kickstarter. Like, you can feel just the but it is...
And corporate capitalist nightmare company, like, owning lives in the future has been a topic that multiple things have visited.
So... Somebody on our subreddit, I think it was, or maybe one of my YouTube comments, I forget, but they pointed it out and they nailed the game's tone, is that usually when you see the corporate hellscape future, looks like Blade Runner, looks like Police Knots, it's fucking cool. This shit looks like garbage. Because why would you make it cool when it would be cheaper to make it shitty? And it's like, it is, the writing is A++, like just incredible top to bottom, constantly, over and over. Every character I met was fascinating and like genuinely actually funny. On top of that, systemically, the game does a lot of things that this type of open world, like first-person RPG, have toyed with, like people have modded in. Dialogue skills give you combat bonuses. So if your persuade is really high, the first time you shoot a human enemy or damage them, there's a chance that they'll cower. Or robots will have a chance to attack each other after attacking you if your lie is really high. So it gives all these non-combat abilities that would usually just be dumping grounds for skipping content, actual combat ramifications.
The setting sounds similar to Borderlands.
It does, but done well.
Okay.
Yeah, totally. There's totally an element to that. The game looks incredible. It's super
I like the
bright.
I like the art style
and colorful. It's really bright.
Yeah, the art style is strong.
It runs really well, and I've encountered no bugs. And from what I'm talking to people, almost no one has encountered any bugs at all, because it's running on goddamn Unreal Engine and not Bethesda's piece of fucking shit creation kit.
So it's exactly the nightmare that Fallout was afraid it was going to be.
It is literally showing everybody you don't need Bethesda to make these types of games. Their engine is not the be-all, end-all for these types of games. They don't have to be buggy. They don't have to be poorly written. They can just be excellent. Outer Worlds feels like the cross between the way a BioShock 1 feels like moving around, Mass Effect's or KOTOR's structure, like, you know, the first planet, then you go to one of the four, you know, that kind of thing.
Yeah.
And the Bethesda style of first person, walk around, talk to people. It is incredible. Everything about the game so far has been fantastic.
I'm going to put out an idea that no matter how bad a franchise gets, it's never completely dead and buried until a replacement shows you the power gap.
I feel like this game comes along and says, because BioShock, Mass Effect, and Fallout, as far as I'm concerned, are dead. BioShock is actually dead. Like, that company doesn't exist anymore. Mass Effect is functionally dead, and we'll talk about Fallout in a bit.
But like there's not yet been a Mass Effect replacement in that idea.
This totally
right?
scratches that itch as well. The way you talk to people, the party member, you know, that kind of thing. So far, the cast, the first party member you get is voiced by Ashley Birch. I think it's her best work yet. The second the second party member you get is a priest of the religion of this game, which is the law, which is just determinism. Wooly, you're familiar with what we used to talk about in college of the nightmare of the plan, of the physical interactions all leading to inescapable lack of free will, deterministic future?
Yes.
That's the religion of this setting.
Dominoes.
Is the plan, because the plan tells you to accept your lot in life and work hard, because it won't matter if you change.
It's a corporate religion?
Yes.
Oh man. Oh.
But it's also a real religion.
Yeah, okay.
But it's also
endorsed.
And the guy and Max, Vicar Max, totally buys in, but is also like, oh man, it's incredible. It's
pause that thought for a second.
For just 1 second.
Yeah. Sorry there. Delivery man had to drop something off at my door.
All right then.
I got it.
Enjoy your delivery, sir.
I don't know what it is. We'll find out.
But yeah, game's incredible. I will refrain from this recommendation until I've beaten it. But I've been hassling you to play New Vegas for years because I don't think you've ever played this type of game.
No.
Once I beat it, I will probably say New Vegas can wait. Play this one.
Oh, yeah.
And then if you get the taste for it, go back and play New Vegas. It's just so great. It's soul crushing. It's legitimately hard to play.
The idea of like the idea of things being as like establishing how fucked up they are with the setting, and then throwing a religious angle into the mix is like shotgun to the chest for me.
I know.
Like, that is oof.
I was explicitly reminded, like, hey, remember to tell Wooly about Vicar Max on the podcast.
That sounds awful.
Wooly, the very first quest you do for him is you gotta find a fucking heretical book about, like, I think essentially like fucking philosophist communism. You gotta burn it because it's not good for the law. But it also, but naming your religion the law gives you all these amazing moments. Like one of his combat yells is "May the law forgive you, because I won't."
Right.
And it's like, oh, that sounds great.
It's like the miracle.
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah, you got that pronunciation in your head too, didn't it? It's
yeah.
like there's a little at the end of it. Game's aces, amazing, incredible. Can't talk more good about it. It's so good. Can't wait to play it. I'll probably be streaming it later. Well, I will be streaming it later tonight.
What a fucking crazy year.
Yeah. There's no season pass for it. There's no announced DLC. There was no pre-order bonus. It just came out.
2019, really, really, really strong year for like old franchises and new smaller titles. Maybe not the best year for the blockbusters.
Probably the worst year for blockbusters ever.
But that makes it feel better.
Yeah.
It makes it feel better because it's like the things I like are having the time of their life. And yeah, that other shit is, well, it's important to put money into the industry. But fuck, man, it doesn't have to be like that. It doesn't have to be you don't have to sacrifice quality.
So the part where you just said of like
expand.
it doesn't have to be like that is for the longest time the biggest argument for Bethesda. They're the only company that really makes those kinds of games, right? Do you want a big ass giant open world RPG? You pretty much got Bethesda, but their engine is so bad, and it's been getting worse and worse because it hasn't changed, right? Like, so you go, well, that's the price you pay, right? And there was no one ever to prove it wrong. Now there's totally a game that runs on a real engine that everybody uses, and you can see it. So in a Bethesda game, every object in the world has physics and is like a pick-upable object, right? That's why you see all those goofy things. I filled my Skyrim house with 1 million watermelon, that kind of shit. When you remove a clothing item from somebody's inventory, it comes off their model, right? Stuff like that, right? You played BioShock, I know you did.
Yes.
Remember in BioShock where everything was static except for items that you could pick up and they were just highlighted?
Yeah.
Yeah, just do that. You don't actually need every item to be movable. You don't actually need every character's body to have the ability to get dragged ever. As soon as you take that shit away, the game is 1,000,000 times more stable because there's 1,000,000 things that it doesn't have to give a fuck about. One of the bigger problems with the Bethesda style RPG is that the longer the game goes on, the worse it runs. Because every time you load into a new area, it has to calculate the distance from something's original position it is. Did you take it? It has to label it as gone. Did you move it? It has to label it as moved over. Right?
But look how impressive it is when that body ragdolls. down to the floor after you kill it.
It doesn't matter. It doesn't matter.
But Skyrim, though.
It doesn't matter.
What?
None of it matters.
What are you playing it on?
I'm playing it on the PC on the Epic Store. You can also play it on the PC via the Microsoft Xbox Game Pass.
Game Pass,
which is currently $1.
Yep.
To start.
Game Pass is the game Netflix, right?
Yeah, kind of.
Yep.
Yeah.
So
if you want to check it out, you can spend $1.
You're playing it on the store. Are you playing? But are you playing on a controller?
Yes.
Really?
Yeah.
Huh.
Absolutely full controller support.
Okay. Well, of course, full controller support. But I get my impression of like a game that goes like hard like that. I imagine it would be like mouse and keyboard, but
No, they've been either or since pretty much Fallout 3.
okay.
That style of game. Yeah, it's great. There's all these little things. There's stuff that I couldn't have possibly expected in terms of like things that games just don't do. I walked up to a character and one of their opening dialogue was like, yeah, I keep hearing rumors about some kind of fucking colony ship, some crazy bullshit, whatever. I'm like, oh shit. That's because I chose dialogue options in earlier quests, mentioning, like telling people the truth. Yeah, I'm from a colony ship, instead of just shutting up and saying this. Stuff like unmarked quest solutions, such as, hey, I got this experimental medicine. Do I want to give it to the guy who paid me to go get it? Do I want to give it to the guy who will give it out to the sick people? Or, which are both, quest markers.
KOTOR.
Right? Or do I want to go to the constable who is unmarked and go, yo, hey, these people are trying to bribe me to get medicine that the company says they're not supposed to have. And that is a viable end to that quest.
It's the fucking KOTOR mission.
So you played KOTOR. Guess what? It's that.
Yeah.
You didn't play KOTOR 2, right? No. So in KOTOR 2, you find a certain robotic companion in the hold of your ship, and there's a quest line to repair him. In this game, you get in your ship, and there is a robotic companion in the hold of your ship, and you have a quest to repair them. And they're a cleaning robot. Not a cleaner, an actual cleaning robot. It is a janitor robot.
Okay, so every time you've talked about this game, and every time we saw like footage of it and stuff, like I always in my brain associated it as like spiritual successor to Fallout. But you're also
spiritual successor to also KOTOR,
describing it as it's wrapping one hand around Old Republic and another hand around Mass Effect as well.
Okay, so let me break it down. Obsidian is currently made out of people who invented Fallout 1 and 2, a lot of the BioWare staff who made Baldur's Gate 1 and 2, a lot of the people who made KOTOR 2, and who made New Vegas. All the fucking super famous RPGs of that era are either directly made by this team, were inspired by people made by this team, or were sequels to things made by it is. Obsidian is that 90s, early to aughts
it's where they ended
PC
up.
RPG house. That's where they all live now, with the exception of Bethesda, and that was just a style thing for New Vegas.
And did they also get anybody that was like let go from
Bethesda?
The cleanups?
I don't think so.
Okay. Huh.
But who knows what
right.
staff. But creatives, it's like the people who were behind New Vegas and the original Fallout and some of the KOTOR people made this game. And you can... So, it's weird because you look at it and there's spiritual similarities to Mass Effect, but it's actually not similarities to Mass Effect. It's the stuff that stayed the same from KOTOR
what they used to do
to Mass Effect.
Okay.
And it's actually about KOTOR.
Okay. What how's your like when you start out, what options do you have creating your character?
You have a lot. So first of all, I was astonished that I was able to make myself in the game literally as I am now. It has the hairstyle I have right now. This I'm losing my hair, but I let my hair grow too long hairstyle. That's in there.
Classes?
No, skills. The old style skill system where you choose between, oh Christ, melee, 1 and 2 handed, guns, long guns, handguns, and big guns, stealth, which is hacking, sneaking, etc. Tech, which is medicine, hacking, the whole fucking gamut.
The whole thing, yeah.
And the one of the more interesting things about the game is the way you level up is very different. So you had your classic, you had your perk system in the Skyrims and shit, and then you had your skills system where you would put up medicine from 1 to 100, right?
Mm-hmm.
Here they've decided that that's a lot of decisions to make really early. So for the first 50 levels of a skill, say Wooly, you want to learn guns. You want your character to use guns, but you don't know which guns. It's been an old Fallout problem that, I spec'd into energy weapons. Energy weapons are hard to find, especially in the early game. And so you can end up having a kind of miserable playthrough. When you level up the first 50 levels of all the weapons, you don't level up handguns, or you don't level up long guns. You level up ranged combat, and each of them gets 1 point every time you put a point in.
Oh, okay.
All the way up to 50. And at 50,
you start
putting it into
specifying.
one or the each. So what this means is that for the first half of the leveling process,
you can figure
you're not
out.
going, I want to be lying and sneaking. You go, do I want to be stealthy?
Yeah.
Do I want to be smart? Do I want to be
You start broad and then
you realize, I really like
that's
persuade.
Very smart.
I really like one-handed melee.
Does anyone do that?
No, it is literally the first game to do it.
That is very smart.
And every 2 levels, you also get perks, which are stuff like the ability to fast travel while encumbered, faster recharge on your VATS bullshit, stuff like that. Companions give you some of their skills. It's great. It's just great. Even their like slow down time mechanic that VATS was the one that they all used, which was hit the button, time stops, and you choose the thing. Mm-hmm. All they did was they turned it into bullet time, and time barely moves at all unless you do anything. And you aim at what, and it will tell you what the effect it will cause. If you shoot a guy in the leg, it'll hobble, etc. And every time you shoot or swing, it takes part of your bar. And it's the exact same system as VATS, except it's way, way faster and less of a menu.
So a lot of first-person games handle melee differently.
This game handles melee very weird. You have a 3-hit combo. You can learn power and sweep attacks. And there is a separate skill chain for defense, which includes a double jump, which is a dodge in any direction, as well as bonuses off of that dodge and invincibility off of that dodge, and types of perfect blocks. And there's a melee system in this game.
And it's not like super basic.
No. Yeah. It's super basic for my character, because I don't know shit. But you learn sweeps, power attacks, perfect blocks, and a command dodge.
Okay.
Which is plenty, honestly, for this kind of thing. Along 1- or 2-handed weapons and various whatnot. Game's great.
That's good.
Game's super good. Can't recommend it enough. Be streaming it later tonight at twitch.tv/angriespat on my new working internet. You should play it at some point somehow.
No, that sounds really
if you can handle the death in your heart, because it's
yeah.
it's bad. It's nonstop. Like every single person you talk to depresses you.
A lot of what you're describing too is stuff that I'm excited about for Cyberpunk.
Yeah.
Actually, but just I came early.
Yeah.
That's nice. That's cool. That's very cool. Okay.
All right, let's move on to the news. Hope there's nothing that'll make Outer Worlds look even better by comparison in there.
Yeah. It's
Do you remember last week when I pointed out that Fallout First was probably announced in such a way as to deflect interest or views from Outer Worlds?
Ugh.
That worked out really good, didn't it?
Remember last week when I said it wasn't a clock reset?
It was announcement of a bad idea, I think is what the way you said it. You were completely right. You were 100% right.
And then comes the
then
follow-through. First you gotta swing,
and then
you follow through.
So, Wooly, before the podcast started, I said to you, I think this is this year has been the year of the same stories happening over and over and over again, more than any other time we've ever done this podcast. But this is the one that I didn't expect. I somehow didn't expect this week to have this story. Because it's so fucking dumb.
Okay, so Fallout first, right?
$100.
Talked about it. Premium service. Gives you access to private servers, an unlimited scrapbox, etc., etc., for $100 a year or whatever per month.
Yeah. Does it?
Which one?
Either.
No.
It doesn't.
It's just like I'm actively I'm trying to not keep talking about this game.
But dude,
every week when I'm making the docket,
this is literally the most interesting thing to happen in video games this week.
I'm like, people have to understand that I know how dead horse this is getting. I'm trying to not bring it up all the time, but fuck me if you can't not bring it up, because the servers are not private.
People can get in,
and the scrapbox is not only not unlimited, it fucking deletes your shit.
Anything you put in there goes away. So I guess it is unlimited.
Like, it literally doesn't do the things that you're paying for it to do. I can't.
So I don't know. I don't know which one I think is crazier, right? Because one is it's this box only has to do one thing, which is keep items, and it doesn't. And it's not only does it not keep them, it deletes them. But the other is like, I'm paying for a private game, and then people very, very quickly found areas that had already been looted or had like enemies dead, and they're like, huh? And then it was discovered there's ways to break into people's games. And
this, okay, like, I keep armchair QA braining.
Yeah, let's hear it. This I want to hear.
And this is exactly what happens when a feature gets like pitched as a very what can we do in a short period of time, right? And team lead will come over and go, we can put these boxes in, and team leader can go, or they'll go like, okay, based on the structure we have, can we give people their own private servers? Can we give them instances? What can we do? And they will figure out a way within the existing framework to go, oh yeah, we can give people their own individual, but it's not the actual versions of those things, because it wasn't built for that.
It's the jury rig
It's
bullshit.
the one you slap on afterwards, right?
Yeah.
And like, whoever is making the decisions to, first there's that, and then there's someone else along the chain, likely a producer, that is like accepting that at face value and just going, okay, it's in, ship it, right? And like, there's no point where both of these features can happen to come out like this and not do what they say they're doing, and the QA team didn't find it.
They found it in a day.
There's no way.
So I actually, Wooly, I happen to know
report this
for a fact that Bethesda's QA department is incredibly good at their jobs. They are probably the best QA team in the business, but no one listens to them.
It's impossible. Like, the types of bugs we're describing here are basic functionality.
Did it work? No.
And somewhere along the line, right, because there's a siren that's been blaring for the last 8 months in the office over the state of how everything is it has to be fixed, it has to come out, right? And like the nature, like everything with this game has been so, oh god, fuck, shit, do this, right? And like, there's definitely a database sitting there with possibly thousands of what we call WNFs, which is will not fix.
Yeah.
Right? When you attach a price tag to a feature, those things become the highest possible priority, and yet still they didn't give a fuck.
And it's a really, really high price tag too. It's not
so
like
when a game then, right, is not knows when there's clearly like, okay, we have a bad situation, there's a lot of problems here, these features we're promising are not working, but yet still somehow it ends up in the public's hands. Someone who understands the situation says, we got to start making money right now.
This thing is a sink.
And if we don't start right now, the time it would take to get these things working will have created an even bigger loss.
Yeah.
So this is about, like, it's not about bailing water out anymore, right? It's about just buying time by spreading yourself out on the boat as it's like that's it. It's just about buying. So, like, this is unbelievable that, like, the people that are looking at this are, like, still the people making decisions to put this out are still working at their, like, you know what I mean? Like, this is like a game like this ends a career. I don't know how else to say it. It's insane.
Well,
it's insane.
I have a feeling that these kinds of decisions are coming from above development. So
to save money for sure, but what I like, check if you can, like, no, like, there's no way to do this unless you just set a fucking reminder, right?
Yeah.
But, like, the list, like, how many people are going to keep this game on their credits?
None
is the question.
Absolutely none.
When we look at it back, when you look down the line to wherever these people, whatever they end up working on, right? You check the Moby Games profile, and how many are going to actually keep their names?
No,
attached?
this game is a problem for those people, because you take it off your credits and then they go, why didn't you work on anything from such a year to such a year? Like, it's a black mark on, I assume.
Okay.
There's a lot of folks who are working on this game who are quite talented and just don't have any time or resources to fix a goddamn thing.
Okay. Now, here's the part where I have to be woolly.
Yes.
Right? And I apologize in advance.
All right, Wooly.
For being woolly.
All right.
Clearly, there are people that are playing and enjoying this.
There are.
I am not at all a person who has touched this, so I'm doing the thing of, I'm the ignorant asshole who's commenting who's never touched the thing. I'm just looking at the fire from the next block over.
And you're going, wow, that's a big fucking fire.
That smoke is blotting out the sun, right? There are people who like this. So
sure.
So now Wooly has to go, like, well, why are these people liking this? What is it that they're enjoying? Is there something inside there that is exactly what they're looking for?
Do you remember when I mentioned to you that Bethesda's the only type of people that make these kinds of games?
Mm-hmm.
That's it.
And I guess maybe the name and the attachment
and the attachment to the franchise.
The attachment to the franchise.
It's that.
Okay.
So this is the only type of game out there that's kind of like itself. It is unique in a fashion, and that's it.
Well, then I guess I feel bad for those people.
I was one of those people, and I felt bad about it for a long time, right up until last week.
Well,
Jim just put out a great video. Jim Sterling put out a great video on which Outer Worlds shows off. We straight up just don't even need Bethesda anymore.
Well, unfortunately, for those people that care the most.
Yes, that are spending the $100. There is a bit of a wrinkle to this story that is easily better than the development fuck-ups. I couldn't believe that this is so much more entertaining.
This would have been the version of the story I would expect from last week.
Yeah.
As opposed to what we got, right?
Yeah.
Because at some point one expects a lesson to be learned. Mm-hmm. But alas,
no lessons to be had.
The result of creating the Fallout First program one led to a hilarious website being purchased.
Because Bethesda didn't bother to purchase any of the applicable domains.
And
4chan got to it first.
And that got done.
Hey, to the guys who put those websites up, they look really good and really official at a glance.
Takes you a second.
Yeah.
Which is the intent.
They did a good job with their web design.
Right? Instead of just going like open ass cheeks, ha.
Yeah.
They actually made something that looks a lot like the official release. And then
you read it for a little bit and you're like, okay, that's pretty good. All right.
But second, there is a class war.
Yes, there appears to be a violent class struggle
that is in the middle of happening.
So,
because people that are free players are targeting...
Not free players. No one's a free player.
Excuse me. People that are not Fallout First players are targeting people that are Fallout First players and griefing the shit out of them.
So, the fun fact about the Fallout First subscription is that the box that's infinite doesn't work. The private servers don't really work. But what does work is the special emblem next to your name.
That tells you you're a
Fallout First subscriber. So you're extra special. And that you have $100 to waste on a piece of shit. Yeah. Which signals to anyone who ever sees you that you need to die.
So anyone else who was on this game, and let's be real, like there's definitely a sizable people that were on this game to find the next thing going wrong.
Oh, totally.
Right? Because it's become that.
It's kind of the best part about the game.
It's become that Radical Heights, like everyone else online is streaming, and trying to find bugs instead of just playing the game type of situation.
Oh, absolutely.
And so yeah, now anyone that shows up that's a paid subscriber is getting people fucking targeting them and ruining their experience.
Which has led to what might be my favorite Reddit post of all time.
Fallout First players, we need to assemble and build gated communities for ourselves. Piss poor 76ers are targeting us. We need to come together and shield us from these animals. They will tear us apart and they will never be satisfied.
Oh man.
So
it's
class war.
It's like an ad. It is like
Let's
an
go.
ad.
Class war
for Outer Worlds. It is like, like this whole thing is like a fucking advertisement. It's so amazing.
And this Reddit post was somehow written and then immediately the person writing it had a British accent.
Yeah. We have to open up the
these piss poor 76ers.
These peasants.
Yeah.
It's incredible. The idea, because I'm thinking, like, let's say I was younger and I was playing 76 and I was miserable because I spent my money on it, right? And I'm like lower middle class and I don't have enough money to buy another game, so I'm just playing it and being miserable. And then I see somebody walk by with a badge that says, I spent $100 on a feature that doesn't work. I'm going to kill them. I'm going to shoot them. They're dead. Like, I will drop whatever the fuck I am doing to shoot them. Because fuck it. Why not?
Yeah.
Why not?
Or put on a bear costume and go punch them.
Why not?
With a gang. A gang of others.
Go back to your private server, asshole. Oh, wait.
I mean, like,
on the one hand, I feel really bad for people who spent $100 and got double fucked, only to then have people organize en masse to kill them.
That's what I'm saying, though. That's what I'm trying to get to. It's like, in addition to the bullshit where the thing you paid for doesn't work, everyone else is like, fucking get that guy.
That has the bonus feature of pariah.
You know? And you are fucking Lord of the Manor with your top hat and monocle walking down through Ogre Street.
Yeah.
You're walking down Ogre Street and motherfuckers with knives are spilling out of the taverns and coming to shank the shit out of you.
On the other hand, those people are goddamn fools for picking up Fallout First.
Well, this is the first part of the conversation.
Right.
Where I'm like, so who are we talking about here? Who, in fact, are these people?
We're talking about foolish people or people with money to burn who don't give a fuck. The latter, fuck them. The former,
There's Fallout is also popular enough that, like, there's got to be people who are just fans of the franchise that aren't paying attention to gaming news or anything going on.
but they have to still play the game.
They have to still play the game. Certainly.
That falls apart right away because that game sucks.
But like Assassin's Creed games that sucked still.
Come on.
Like
none of those sucked like this sucks. This sucks on like a new level.
I mean, I don't know. I'm trying to wrap my head around some reason for these people to like.
Dude, I don't know.
Super okay with what's happening.
The first guy,
right? The person who says we need to make these gated communities has had his items deleted and has had his private server invaded, and is like, but still though.
If you wanna take a deep dive to fucking just examine this mental state, go find the Reddit thread about the guy who broke the story about the item box deleting your shit, because he starts it off going, listen, I hate Bethesda too. I disagree with Fallout first, but I need it because I trade, and I'm a trader in the game, and I just need it for my gameplay, the way that I like to play the game. And everyone goes, what? What does that fucking mean?
I'll tell you what that
makes no fucking
means.
sense.
Now, no, I know exactly what that is. I have friends who despise gacha. / know exactly how gross and that it is, that like it when it's at its worst, but are just still like, but it's just like it. I wanted the thing, like
I just wanted it.
I wanted the thing, and it's like I don't enjoy that this is what's happening. I don't like that this is where we are, but it doesn't change the fact that I want the thing enough that I'm still going to.
You're describing an addict.
I mean, is that not what mobile games are designed to hunt and fucking kill?
Yeah. Listen, I know I shouldn't have that drink, but I really want to be drunk right now. I mean,
so yeah. I'm like, there must be a perspective of someone who's like, no, there's this though.
Sunk cost is very powerful,
but I want to know who's gonna have this on their resume, you know.
If you work for any organization that touched Fallout 76 and you are going to put this game on your resume, please contact us. I would be fascinated to hear what you have to say as to why. And if you're not, I guess contact us anyway so that we can ask you what the hell you are going to put on your CV for the time.
What was that? Yeah.
What was that 2-year, 3-year gap that you just didn't work?
Went into the vault.
Yeah, just
went into the vault. Anyway, so that,
you know what? Somebody in our chat just answered it. Artists and 3D modelers can safely put this game on their resume because art's art and a 3D model's a 3D model.
Mm-hmm.
You know.
Mm-hmm.
But nobody on that design or production team.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, you came in, you made what you had to make, and you got out. If you made assets, you're fine.
Hey, Fallout, can you calm it down for a couple weeks, please?
Besides, like, if there's a good time for you to lay low, it would be during the lead up to BlizzCon.
It's Friday, dude. It's Friday.
If there's any time for you to get the heat off your back. Wow. This is the most angry people have been at Blizzard in a long time, because it's not about the video games.
It has nothing to do with video games.
So the story is that apparently Overwatch 2 is going to be possibly revealed. Although the correction on that is, at first they were like Overwatch 2. And then it was like, not so much Overwatch 2 as much as it is Overwatch
more.
Part 2.
Yeah.
Chapter 2. Like the Fortnite.
Yes.
So the rumors and that Slasher has been putting out, well, not putting out, but that he's been talking about it a bunch, include things such as, like, it's going to be focused on PvE.
Which is very different.
Going to have a new hero. It's going to basically be an expanded version of those PvE events.
Yeah.
Except it's like a dedicated mode.
Sure.
There's going to be there was even like a leak from someone. Again, you take it with a grain of salt, but someone claimed to have been fired from Blizzard and then wrote up a big thing about the state of the company and how they don't care anymore. So here, whatever.
Yeah.
Again, it's just a random post. It might just be nonsense, but they talked about like the abilities that were, whatever the focus on PvE to kind of like not completely replace the existing Overwatch as much as it is like build on what was missing from the last game and such and so on. Apparently this is going to be dropped at BlizzCon and might even be playable there. And everyone is just going,
why?
Motherfucker, who gives a shit?
And
I'm like, oh no, you like... If this is
the ground
actually
is salted, man.
If you're dropping Overwatch 2,
and everyone's like, who gives a fuck?
That's like, you can't walk that back.
Now listen, the average person who doesn't pay attention to this shit is gonna go, yay, Overwatch 2.
And there is a time frame that like it almost won't matter.
Sure, but still, I still agree with you. The fact that the overwhelming reaction of the people that talk and whatnot is, who gives a fuck, is wow. You really, really burned everybody not just with the Blitzchung shit, but the Overwatch League and the horrible way that's been handled and the cosmetic, just holy fuck.
I was really surprised how nonplussed most responses were, just flipping through it.
Yeah.
Flipping through the threads. Yeah, like, they're probably looking at this as a, like, well, we're just going to have to climb that mountain over the course of years to get it back in good graces.
Well, that assumes they stop throwing themselves down the mountain.
That does assume. And the timing of this, of course, is also...
Oh, yeah, Diablo 4 is also going to straight up get announced at this BlizzCon. Which also, guess what? Also, people are like, who cares? Which is fucking astonishing. Even more than the Overwatch thing.
As
Diablo 4 is people going like,
yeah,
fucking whatever, who cares?
That was what was the point of the controversy last time they were on stage talking about Diablo.
Absolutely.
It's the point of anger and frustration implies that you still care.
Yeah.
And that you're mad about what you're doing, about what they're doing, because you want them to go in the right direction with it.
And now it's just be like, people just want them to stop.
That's
existing.
Actually the worst. Like, when they're mad at you, they still have hope that you're going to not make the mistakes because they want the thing they love.
As somebody who for a lot of my life was a huge Blizzard mark, I just don't want that company to make games anymore at all. I don't want more Warcraft games to come out. I don't want more Diablo games to come out. I just want them to stop. Because fuck them. I don't give a shit.
I can't. I'm just surprised. I'm just really surprised by like the.
So
let's be real, dude. The controlled leak.
Oh, totally.
You know what I mean? Coming down the line.
Usually, when you say this is a controlled leak, it's like complete nonsense. Everything is leaking out of BlizzCon, and it's all big game announcements that are supposed to make people stop caring and stop complaining. And it's not making people stop complaining at all.
And it's like, maybe like let's lay the foundation. Let's see how people are gonna. And it's just
BlizzCon's still going to be a shit show, guys.
Complete disinterest.
People are going to show up with signs and secret costumes under their coats.
It is true. It is a leak from Slasher and ESPN.
Yeah.
At the end of the day, your source is not a random poster. It is fucking.
It's ESPN going oopsie.
So yeah. I don't know how the future plays out on this one. I mean, I do. But it always stops mattering. Let's be realistic. It always stops mattering. There's always a point in time in which, like, the current events will not be, like, souring the majority of people.
You're right in that, like, that. I completely agree, is that it does stop. Like, the scandals or whatever, it stops mattering. The other thing, though, is that these are almost always coincided with drops in quality. It's very, very rare for a company that is constantly embroiled in garbage all the time to still be putting out A-plus amazing pieces of work. Blizzard used to be like a stamp of quality on the level of Nintendo. On the PC, they were the Nintendo. Hey, it's a Blizzard game. Guess what? It's unbelievable. It's incredible.
I'm trying to think of anything that's come out in the middle of...
Right. That's not the case anymore, right? Overwatch, everybody loved it, and then they kind of ruined it over time, which was really bizarre. WoW is in such a state that the most successful way it's been is by going back in time.
Did it get ruined over time, or did people just kind of like slowly check out?
I think the way they handled the league stuff,
and the pro stuff had a lot of people on that level.
The way that they balanced it,
but on the level of everyone playing the game for fun,
I think competitive and the way they balanced that game really fucked that game up.
Okay,
that's my
a little bit of both.
They also killed HOTS. They built up and killed HOTS in this period. Diablo went from being
killed how?
That game's not getting any new.
Oh, it's just untouched.
It's. I mean, they announced one new character, but they straight up rolled back and they're like, it's not a priority and it will not get resources, and it is essentially a dead game now.
Okay.
Which they announced that publicly without telling anybody on their pro circuit. So the people on the pro circuit for HOTS just got, oh yeah, my athlete crap, my esports shit just disappeared. I'm glad I found out alongside everybody else, kind of thing. Like, Blizzard is no longer a stamp of assured quality. And if Blizzard was a stamp of assured quality, this would all go away and no one would give a shit, right? Let's look at BioWare, right? BioWare gets bought by EA. EA's fucking evil, yes? But BioWare's BioWare. Holy shit. And BioWare puts out Dragon Age, and they put out Mass Effect 1 and 2, and everyone's like, it's fine. And then it became not fine. And then just the releases just started to fall to pieces, and now no one gives a fuck, right? With Blizzard, the slights are 100 times. They're like the worst. They've gotten politicians and like geopolitical heat on this shit. You know, like, it's as bad as it gets.
Now I hear that, but maybe just maybe. What's the guy's name that does the videos talking about the new characters and balancing and stuff?
Jeff Kaplan.
Okay, so Kaplan comes out on stage.
Yeah.
Right? Everyone makes their noises, and he goes, hey, blah, blah, blah. Presses the button. The projector turns on. Pornhub logo.
Yeah. Blizzard is happy to announce
direct partnership.
Officially announcing a direct partnership with Pornhub and Source Filmmaker.
You want to 180 this shit? Let's get it going.
Yeah,
get it going. And you know Pornhub already has the contract written up and signed.
Just sign it, guys.
We just need your hands.
We mail it every day to their office.
Overwatch 2 direct to Pornhub.
So you can feel the belief from Blizzard that the announcements are going to make all this go away. And all I can think of...
I don't know if they believe it, but I think they're crossing their fucking fingers.
And I think that the ruckus that we're all looking forward to at BlizzCon is absolutely going to drown out anything they talk about. You're going to have videos of people getting thrown out. You're going to have altercations. You're going to have probably someone rushing the stage in a Winnie the Pooh. You know, like...
Hopefully not.
I think everyone should act with dignity and be safe and not do anything criminal. But I think people are absolutely going to cross some lines they probably shouldn't. And that even if they don't, even if everyone was peaceful and just yelled a bunch, the video of, hey, the guy who wound up on Blizzard's stage can't be heard over booze is going to be the story of the week rather than Overwatch getting it out.
I mean, they haven't changed their Q&A format, so that's still going to be open.
So people thought that it meant that they weren't going to have Q&A when they saw the World of Warcraft assign put questions.
It's what it was.
They used to do that as well. It is still unknown whether or not they'll have a proper Q&A section at the end of the thing. And here's the thing. We talked about this before. If it becomes really clear to the crowd of 35,000 people that Q&A ain't coming, people are just going to start yelling out their Q&A anyway. Like there's no stopping that. How much security do you need to escort out 35,000 people? A lot, right?
Well, you don't escort out 30,000 people. You put up a wall and then you escort the others
out.
Quite frankly, you just don't run the event. Oh boy. Well, anyway,
so excited.
I can't wait.
I cannot use any stronger language than if you are going to be present at BlizzCon, do not touch anyone, do not run onto stage. Do not break the law.
No.
But feel free to be annoying.
I mean, there's look.
Annoyance is worth something.
At the end of the day, there is, understandably going to be a police presence that
I imagine there will be a significant police presence.
Is there for anybody who goes too far. You got to get in the van.
Yeah.
You don't want to get in the van.
You don't want to get in that van.
No. Not a good.
But you want to be a sarcastic, snide little bitch? Yeah, go for it.
Be the kid who danced.
Oh, that kid's amazing.
And then
turn the shirt around. Oh! Fucking the cameraman just has like a conniption. It's
do
amazing.
That. Whoop! Oh!
Have one of those. Don't
look.
Have one of those fancy cosplays you can turn inside out for a different look.
Oh, that's a big one.
You remember in
cosplay contest?
You remember in Fresh Prince when the first episode where Will goes to jail? He goes to school and he turns his jacket inside out and he looks great.
Yo,
hey, that's a good idea.
Yo, next level. So you have the obvious May outfit, but then like the Free Hong Kong outfit, and then you get the normal May.
Yeah,
that's actually just May.
Yeah,
and then you flip that giant jacket inside out. And you press the button on her little buddy, and a huge flag shoots out of it.
Yeah. You know what's going to be really interesting?
Read that tech.
You know what's going to be really interesting? The fully clothed Roadhog cosplayers with the goggles and the mask. No? Okay, the Hong Kong protesters tend to wear goggles and masks.
Oh, yeah, there you go.
They look just like Roadhog.
Roadhog holding an umbrella.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Hey, it's just Roadhog, man.
I
just thought
other Overwatch characters in Winnie the Pooh colors.
Yeah.
Well, anyway.
Oh, it's just beige and red. I like beige and red. They're good. How many Winnie the Poohs do you think you're going to see in that fucking crowd?
I mean, it's at the very least.
Is it going to be like a Where's Waldo picture?
Casual. At the very least, casual Winnie. Doesn't have to be full on fursuit.
Or like a shirt with
red
Winnie
shirt
the Pooh on it.
Bare
arms.
Here.
What is you trying to say?
Bare ears.
Bare ears.
But they're different pronunciations. Yeah.
Beers.
Beer ears.
See, you did it. I do that all the time. You do it very rarely. I think that's the first time I heard it. You do that in like 2 years, but it happened.
The arrears of bare ears.
So, you know who I feel really bad for? The interns they are going to send to die on that stage.
Yeah, everybody, give it up. Who's excited?
No one on that stage is going to have anything to do with any of the decisions that were made.
I mean, yeah. I don't know. I like Korea still cares, right?
No.
No.
Korea still cares about Brood War, man.
Oh.
Seriously.
Speaking of Q&As,
Speaking of,
listen. There's like, trust me, when a horse is beaten, I don't need running back to it, right?
Yeah.
I'm not the person who wants to
that's actually kind of more my thing. I love beat dead horses.
I don't. But a sizable amount of people were like, okay, but did you see this D&D at Austin Film Festival situation, though?
Willie, I think you deserve to beat this dead horse.
But when it's done, it's done.
It's not
right?
done.
At the end of the day, guess what? Game of Thrones sucked. I got it. It's done. We're done. We can move on with our lives.
Right.
Right? But, I mean, look.
I'll read it.
So.
I read it.
Yeah.
It's wild.
It's not wild at all. It's what I thought. It's just, yep, that's about right.
They didn't have a writer's room.
Like, no, why would you do that? No.
They put the baby on a real block of ice, and the mom was mad because it was crying because it was on a real block of ice, and they kept trying to get close-up shots of its penis.
Yeah, so we talked about the difference between the Russo brothers and this, because they happened on the same weekend in D&D, and the difference between, like, literally just closing yourself off versus with the way they handle that. There's no one way, right? Some people, if you're fucking brilliant, if you're really good at what you do and you've done it a million times before, you can close yourself off to the outside world, create something amazing, and come out and, like, that's that.
Yeah.
Unfortunately for these guys, I believe the quote is, let me find the exact tweet.
It's a huge thread. If I remember correctly, it was the gist of we didn't know what we were doing. We learned a lot.
We treated this like school.
It was like an expensive film school for the both of us because we didn't know what we were doing and we just learned as we went along.
We're gonna walk. Well, let's go through it. So, I couldn't find the exact thing, but it was just it's something along those lines of just like them coming out and straight up admitting it. So
and also like the phrase of like actual out loud, like we didn't know what we were doing.
Right. So this is they went dark after the thing
Smart
came out, and they just got away from everything, went up to like a cabin or whatever the story was, and the cast was at Comic-Con and the cast was answering what they could and everything, and for the most part everyone was just like, hey man, you guys did your jobs. And then the story had multiple parts to it. Eventually, the last time we talked about it, it was based on these writing nominations getting handed out, and how HBO submitted these episodes for best writing like clowns, and the actors themselves not having to submit themselves to get in, despite the fact that they're the ones that fucking crushed it and did an amazing job. And like everyone, like just like you were talking about, like the asset creators on Fallout, you know what I mean?
The actors,
like
in Game of Thrones, come away.
Music,
set design. Set design actually gets called out specifically as being incredible by D&D,
right?
In that they had to learn from the set design people.
Effect, like literally everyone that had to take the ball and run with it, despite the fact that it was a fucking greased hog. The ball has been replaced with a greased hog. Run with it.
Sui.
And then eventually, it took a while, but David Beinoff and DB Weiss went to Austin Film Festival, and they held a panel. So someone was there and took notes of a live
elaborate notes.
A live live tweeting what was going on, and basically the gist of it says, someone asked that they go online, and did they go online, and David said yes, we were geographically challenged and the maps were helpful. They didn't obviously read or go into any of the feedback that they were getting at the time. Jason Momoa was found through fan casting pages. We're talking about Game of Thrones, by the way, obviously. D&D refers to the people that made Game of Thrones, so this is the story about them answering about what happened.
They would
in the
write
final
these
season.
characters, and then they wouldn't know how they work, so they just let the actors do whatever they wanted.
So this was always speculated, but like here's the hard confirmation on it. Like the writers and source material ended up in divorce and the divorce was amicable because they ran out of writing material, right? So yes, the thing about George R.R. Martin like not having the book completed did lead to them having to come up with their own shit, and he was able to give them some things, but ultimately what we got was what they had to come up with, despite the fact that up until that point we were given a very highly crafted first couple of seasons.
We were adamant in our pitch to HBO that we would downplay as many of the fantasy elements as possible to appeal to people's moms and football watching dudes.
And to be fair, that is what grabbed a lot of people early on, that it was fantasy without feeling like fantasy, right? The fact that it like the first seasons especially were all a lot of like, okay, this is a Lord of the Rings setting, but it's not directed like
even
a Lord of the Rings.
Even the books are still low
thing.
fantasy.
Yeah.
And also, this feels like the dumbest thing in the world to say alongside comic book films being the most popular film medium right now.
Okay.
As if it couldn't get any dorkier than fucking comic books.
David is describing the pre-meeting with Grimm, who was questioning their bona fides, and quote-unquote, we didn't really have any. We had never done TV, and we didn't have any. We didn't know why he trusted us with his life's work.
Which
I think his answer, or rather, I think he said it was because they figured out something about his writing that no one else had figured out, with like a mystery that he was, and basically he saw that as a sign of, oh, these guys get it because they're paying attention to where this is going. So they figured something out.
Lay one finger of blame down at Grimm's feet for not vetting these people more adequately.
They solved his riddles 3.
Yeah, they
a director they shall be.
They guessed his riddle, and he said good enough.
They talk about the basic writing mistakes on the pilot and things like that.
They described their writing process as one of them would write half the fucking episode and then give it to the other, and he would write the second half, and then they would read each other's halves and go, yeah, that's good.
Yes. Dan was basically saying that Game of Thrones was an expensive film school for he and Dave. For example, they had no idea how to work with costume designers, and it was a huge learning experience. 2 months before the pilot was to air, episodes were averaging 39 minutes, and HBO made them write and film 100 minutes of scenes to meet their contractual obligations. For example, they added a scene with Robert and Cersei and realized there was no scene with them.
There was not one scene in that first season, as originally written, that had the husband and wife talking to each other.
They didn't understand the characters, and the extra minutes helped them understand the characters better. They let the actors redefine the roles, especially Macy, and they began writing for the actors. It's like the actor moved into the house and redecorated. He learned about the characters from the actors.
So here's the thing. That's not necessarily a disaster.
No.
There is value in having the actor bring character to the role.
Yes, totally.
But then using that as your sole guide stick in an adaptation is baffling.
Every time I hear like super talented people talk about that process, there's always a like, well, there's almost two things to it, right? There's like there's a like a riddle, which is how do I play this? What's this supposed to be?
Yeah.
There's a bit of a back and forth, but it's very clear where the road is. It's very clear what the boundaries are. It's very clear what this is supposed to be in terms of like the broad scope. Mm-hmm. And then the character will, in the context of, and then the actor will, in the context of the script and whatnot, kind of figure out some of the details, the intricacies, and a few other things, and then put it together. And then, again, to bring him up again, you get Anthony Hopkins in Westworld, right?
Perfect.
Figuring out how to do...
So this process works fantastic while you're adapting because the rules are defined, what has to happen.
I listened to a recent interview with Todd from Breaking Bad.
Yeah.
You didn't see El Camino yet, right?
I did not.
Okay. He plays a pretty sizable role in that.
Oh yeah, that makes sense.
And if for those of you who don't remember, Todd is he's the redhead that gets introduced late in the show that just is a complete sociopath.
He's total scum.
And it's incredible how like he's introduced as this guy that is like just a almost wholesome, normal, simple man that has no problem,
no morals,
being beyond evil.
It is the
right.
It is the difference between immoral and amoral.
Sure,
he doesn't have morals,
right? It's established that like early on when they have that train heist episode, and it's an amazing episode, and they get through this almost like bumbling adventure of like Ocean's 11ing the train to get whatever they need for the meth production, and it all goes off, and you're like, wow, what a caper.
And then Todd
is standing up there, and then as they complete it and they're ready to go, there is a child who happens to just have rolled by, and he saw the whole thing, and he's just watching. And then Todd's like, well, we got to solve that problem.
Then Todd solves the problem. Because Todd.
and he Todds.
Yeah.
Right? And then you go, oh, that's what this is.
Yeah.
Right? That's who this is. So, it like he's doing an interview, and he was talking about how, he's like, what he didn't know what this character was. He just got the script.
Yeah.
You know, and he was talking to God, I forgot the director's name, but he's going,
Pizza Man.
What do I do with this? Right?
Yeah.
Well, what is he? And he never really fully explained it, but he's like, he just gave him an analogy, and he just basically said, he's like, you ever driving on the road, and then like there happens to just be like a raccoon that just starts crossing the road, and like the way you're driving, you can't swerve because then you're just gonna swerve off.
Yeah.
And there's traffic on the other side of you, so you can't go that way. Right?
Yeah.
And then he walked away. and then the guy who plays Todd was like,
all right.
Oh, okay.
Let's see what I do with that.
Yep. So it's just like, oh, yeah. There's a rack. Okay, well,
Blat.
We what are we supposed to do? We just keep going. Whatever.
Yeah.
Right? Well, the raccoon was there.
Well, now there's no problem.
Now we don't have to worry about whether to swerve left or right.
Yeah.
You know, and it's like, okay, got it. He took that and
did
it and nailed it. Did an amazing job. That can happen when an actor is going back and forth and doing this whole thing.
And for the first batch of Game of Thrones, they had those pieces of information to give to the actors, who then took it and turned them into their own amazing portrayals. And then they stopped having that thing to give to the actors, and just told. Then basically the actors now had to steer the ship with what? No guidance?
Well, they were given waypoints in the fog of war.
Yeah.
So you have the big fog of war, but you still have a beacon over here. You know when like God, what was I don't know what it was in StarCraft, but there was an ability where like it shows you one dot on the map.
Oh yeah, the satellite
thing, right? Yeah. You just be like, and you'd be like, oh, there it is. Okay,
gotta get over there somehow.
Find a way.
Yeah.
Is there a terrain shift? Is there a hole? What is there? What are we gonna find?
It's kind of astonishing the series, once they ran out of books, that the series was any good at all for any length of time, with the actors having to work under like that kind of constraint of basically, figure it out.
I mean, never forget those faces.
Oh yeah.
Right? Never forget Kit reading it and just being like, what the fuck am I looking at?
I don't want it.
And Danny just having that oh boy. So yeah, anyway, it goes on, but for the most part, they're just really
they're a bunch of amateurs who got given a big break,
honest about how they barely understood how they got this to begin with, and ultimately it seems like the pressure was too much, and at no point do they just come out and say it.
No, they
but
don't.
It's there in the subtext.
So you know what the weirdest part about this whole Q&A was? Get excited for Star Wars. Like, Disney has their writer-director combo coming out and going, yeah, we totally ruined it because we're incompetent and didn't know what we were doing. Like,
I wonder if Confederate is still happening.
the bluntness in which they're like, yeah, we're terrible, that's why it sucked, is astonishing. Because get excited for Star Wars.
You know. And I mean, look, man. Like, we saw that. I made that tweet with the fucking X-Men Origins Wolverine thing. And I forgot what there was another movie on that list that was a good one that people liked.
Mm-hmm.
I didn't see it. That was like, oh, but that wasn't bad. It's like, no, but herein is the capacity of all the good and all the evil of the world. Like, you can see that somewhere along the lines, even in the case of X-Men Origins, where that fucking asshole that used to work at Fox, I forgot the guy's name, but there's a dude that was in a production role that was like responsible for tons of garbage because he was just the worst. Takes a lot of the flack on it, but it's just like, yeah, but the point remains that, like, yeah, these dudes, they got the job. They did the thing where your resume is like spicier than it actually is.
Yeah.
And you get the job, and then you got to figure out, once you get it, how to work it. And you can, if you just ask enough questions and seem like you can, do what it takes. But, like, at the end of the day, they kind of didn't know what they were doing.
Makes me think of Lucille Ball at the Candy Factory.
But here's what's crazy, right? That whole part where she's sticking the chocolate in her mouth.
Yeah.
That lasted like 5 seasons.
Yeah.
Like, she kept up because the person making the chocolate was doing an amazing job off screen.
Yeah.
Right? So just outside of Lucy's...
It was delicious and light.
Right? They were making amazing chocolate and putting it on the conveyor belt. And then, then it starts to pile up really slowly.
And then right 5 minutes to the end of the shift, just... bleh.
To the point where I would argue, because what it ends up being is that there was one of the things, sorry, I closed it, but one of the points that they brought up was like, did you pay attention to where the characters were going in the books and what themes were being put together?
Yeah.
And they said we couldn't. We didn't have the time or ability to include any of that stuff.
Yeah.
Right? So what that means is there's a bunch of shit that fans of Game of Thrones have been appreciating over the course of the entire show that was good that they did not intend to be.
Yeah,
good.
it was all accidental.
Because George thought it out. It worked out. But they didn't think or acknowledge that stuff. They were just doing what was being handed down without even knowing it was that good to begin with.
Oops.
All right.
Oops.
Can we now put the flowers on it and walk away?
Right up until you find out about the people who died secretly during production.
All right. Well, anyway.
Right up until then.
Well. I can't say that anyone died in the production of that game. Of that show. And whatever. You know what? This is failing. This is not working.
All right.
I'm abandoning the segue.
All right, let's do it. Let's do a different one.
Sony will issue you a refund if you're unhappy with your copy of WWE 2K20.
But why?
Would you be unhappy with your copy of WWE 2K20?
I don't know. The game's giving me a lot of laughs. I haven't played it, of course, but I've been looking at people's videos of it on the internet, and
it's because the writing is hilarious, right?
Oh, the writing actually is hilarious. It's probably the saddest thing about the whole thing is that the writing is like genuinely really funny in that story mode. But oh boy, gets worse every year, and this year's a banger.
Well, what happened, right? The usual. You took it from one studio's hands, you handed it to another.
With no time.
And you just said, make it pretty, go.
And they didn't make it pretty.
So, yep, used to be Ukes, as we knew, visual concept. And it's like, this is the worst part, is I remember when we were complaining about the previous years as well.
Oh yeah.
Like this is like
Ukes is garbage.
Yeah, I don't know I forgot what the year was where it just switched to complete shit. But it switched to that shit. That shit
Ukes
for
was
a while,
garbage, but at least they had a full year to work on the garbage.
and then that shit then got switched over to even further shit, and now we've got these bugs where, like, I mean, like it's I'm linking to them in the docket, but like literally referees are falling into the ring and people are bouncing off.
There's one where somebody's just spinning around the ring as fast as they
Everyone
can.
is getting stuck on the ropes, and it is not just a buggy piece of shit, but buggy in the funniest possible way. Like, people are duck walking everywhere because their feet are trying
People are falling through the ring and going into space. It's like, it's incredible.
Like, it's one thing for...
Did you go to the thread where somebody broke down the current amount of bugs and things that don't work? Like, nothing in the game works. Like, entrances don't exist. You can import music, but it won't play. If you change wrestlers' moves, the game crashes 100% of the time. Like, it is this hundreds and hundreds of bugs, and almost all of them are this doesn't work, or if you do this, the game crashes.
I mean, sometimes it's just as silly as, like, the Money in the Bank match is lost by Kevin Owens getting a pinfall, right?
Well, that's like real wrestling.
Like, that's, you know what I mean? Like, that sometimes it's just as goofy as that. But a lot of this is just, like, you would wish the game would just crash before these things happened. They fucking, like, it would be less of a story, you know? But all the things that we popped off about back in the WrestleMania days, the floating Kurt Angles and and the teleporting Rey Mysterio.
And now it's not just like, every now and then. It's like every single time you touch it, it flies apart.
Yep. So, obviously, if you just go hashtag WWE 2K20 on Twitter and you look at the videos, it's like it's probably like an hour or more of unbelievable nonsense footage.
It's crazy. It's wild.
So, obviously, this got to a point where Sony's like, "All right, look,
all right,
here you go. You'd like the game." I mean, like, there's the clip of Ronda Rousey just doing the flash dance on one of the ropes, and then the ref starts duck walking, and then the stairs are slowly sinking into the ground, and you're just, it's the peak. It's the peak, and like QA teams, like, this is what we fucking we go have a beer after work and like watch this shit, and just die. You know, this is what we live for. So, yeah.
Now all of you can live that a little bit too.
Yep. And then, of course, it wouldn't be complete without the create a character horror of eyeballs sliding out of sockets and skeletons.
Yeah, as always.
Inverting themselves.
Why not?
So, you know. Why not? Enjoy. Or don't. But you're getting your money back. And hey, what can I say? They're getting some press out of it.
It's such a bummer, because if it was just like a wrestling game came out every 2 years, you could probably see really good wrestling games again from any developer.
Yeah, but like that's.
But Vince is
you're halving your profits.
Are you?
Yes.
When they become good enough that more people than insane idiot wrestling fans buy them?
But the insane idiot wrestling fans are the same as the sports fans that are willing to buy it every year.
I would love to see the numbers on like how many people would actually buy a good sports game if sports games were worth playing again.
Doesn't even matter. What we have now is gangbusters.
It's upsetting.
What you currently have is a model that works.
Because there are so many people that would play sports games if they were good.
But quality is not where our money is coming from. We've made our bed. We're sleeping in it. That bed is every 12 months.
Sad. Big sad.
Yeah. Guess what? It's every single topic on this podcast ever is why not quality? Because money. Okay.
Yeah, you're right.
Castle Super Beast. Like, that's the whole thing. You know, that's what everybody. It's literally all of it.
No.
It's not all bad.
Do we have one good story?
There are some good stories.
Okay.
I mean,
Really? Yeah, we got some.
there are some good stories. There's one last one up here, which is just like basically those are all the stories. These are just announcements.
Okay.
You know, there's always a divide from one into the other.
Death Stranding's coming to PC, guaranteed.
Death Stranding is coming to PC in 2020.
That's fine. That makes sense.
Right. We do have the tweet. We've got the proof. It says it
That's
right
good.
here.
It's gonna happen.
November 8th for PS4, and then early summer for PC. So yay.
All right, that's good.
That's fine and dandy. If you want to get yourself a Project Scarlet, and you want to do it via
The fancy Xbox Elite 2 controller that they're selling in like a week.
You want to do it via a slow payment process, you can use Microsoft's upgrade option.
Oh, really? I didn't hear about this.
Where Microsoft themselves will be taking trade-ins of your this is at least I'm looking at this. It's from a Eurogamer article, so it's talking about this in a British context. But like basically, you pay a monthly installment over 18 months, and you trade in your current console.
Well, this thing's gonna have backwards compatibility for sure.
And then you get the new thing. So again, this is based on a British article. Whether or not it exists outside of this context, not too sure. But that's cool. That's a cool idea.
And they also said that Xbox controllers will work forward with Scarlet,
which is nice.
Yeah.
Because I know that a lot of people that might otherwise hesitate to buy a new console as a generation gets interrupted, is how it ends up feeling a lot of the time. This would help that out, so that's cool. I thought
also both of these pieces of news to me scream that it's going to be fully backwards compatibility with the Xbox.
Yeah, if it's telling you
same controller and here trade yours in, like come on,
which is nice, right? You nobody wants to feel like they're losing what they've already spent their money on.
No, sir.
So there's that.
Oh man, I hope the Sony PlayStation 5 has a fucking.
There's a new trailer out for Persona 5 Scramble, which I completely forgot about.
Yeah, me too.
Until I saw this trailer, and I went, "Oh fuck!"
It looks like one of those Muso games they put time into.
Yeah, it's one of exactly. It's the guest ones.
Yeah,
it's Persona 5 Muso, and it's got a lot of fancy going on.
Looks like a canonical sequel to the game, which is kind of nuts.
It really kind of does.
Well, you see them driving in the van in the trailer, and you're like, oh, okay, all right.
Looks really good.
Yeah, looks good.
Looks really
good.
Looks good. Can't wait to jump right in there. And it's going to be on the Switch.
Yep, makes sense.
Like Joker.
Yep.
So there's a trailer for that dropped, which also looks like better, than I mean, the quality of the models and stuff is looking fantastic. But anyway, so there's that, and then of course, yes, everybody, Dan Southworth, he knows what he's doing. Power Rangers Battle for the Grid, they know what they're doing.
It's really funny,
because the Quantum Ranger, Eric Myers, played by Dan Southworth back in the day, he reprises the role, and the things he says include
foolishness, Lord said.
Foolishness. And I need more quantum power.
And I don't know if you saw the combo video. He actually, for real, has a voice quote that says, "Now I'm motivated."
Yes, exactly. So, fully embracing the fact that you have Virgil.
So here's the thing.
On your fucking call sheet, you're going to get him to do the Virgil.
I don't think it's just Dan Southworth who is in on this. I think it's the devs as well. Because when he says, "I need more quantum power," his moves start to look real familiar. Like he has like a fucking Judgment Cut dash and all sorts of shit.
Yeah, guess what? Clockwork is the battle designer on this game.
Yeah.
The famous Marvel 2
There
player.
you go. See? That's all I needed.
The guy...
Oh, Clockwork versus Neo?
Clockwork versus Neo?
Oh,
Clockwork?
Okay.
Clockwork!
Yeah. All right.
He came out in a Ranger outfit on at Evo to fight people on stage at bar fights. So, yes, man.
If you guys want to see a really intense money match, go check out Marvel 2 Clockwork versus Neo 1st to 10. It's intense.
It's the end of Marvel 2, as they call it. But there was some amazing shit that happened since. But still.
Utex was there. He threw his stick for some reason.
It was very exciting.
It was very weird.
It was very exciting. So, like, they fucking get it. And Dan's like, I imagine, more than happy.
Oh, yeah, totally.
To oblige. Because you are Virgil. Virgil is you. How fucking cool is that?
Yeah, it's great.
You know, this character that you played in Power Rangers before Virgil
is now Virgil.
That's great. That's great.
It's extra crazy hearing those types of lines coming out of a hero's mouth because it doesn't sound very heroic. It sounds villainous.
I mean, look, Battle for the Grid. At the end of the day, like, you know, it was like, is this just a port of the mobile shit game?
No.
And it's like, no, they actually, like, this is Kusoge, but they got they got those dirty ass mix-ups in.
Yeah.
They got that, like, insane team based Marvel style play, and they got FGC people in there.
For those of you who don't know, Kusoge is Japanese for shit game.
Yeah. So it is
it's poverty, man.
Royal poverty.
There it is. It's royal poverty.
It is royal poverty.
It used to have a family name and lands, and is disgraced now.
But the blood is still in its veins.
But the name remains.
The blood is still there. Yeah. You know. And yeah, you can get Doggy Kruger too. So
that's weird.
Doggy Kruger's cool.
I did like a triple take when I saw footage of that game called Power Rangers. I'm at that point now where I'm like, Doggy Kruger is not a Power Ranger in my mind.
He's the Blue Ranger, so
fuck off.
Deal with it.
He's a Sentai character. Get out of here. Get out of here.
And then there's some other fun stuff. Real quick. One, there is a GameCube style Joy-Con that's coming out. Have you seen this thing?
I have not seen this thing.
Okay, well, it is exactly what you would think.
Now, GameCube controller or GameCube?
GameCube controller style Joy-Con.
Oh, that's cool.
Yeah, actually, and it's not. Excuse me, it's not one of the unofficial ones that have to be hooked in. This is wireless as well.
Nice.
So that's the biggest problem with some of the ones that have like a Nyko Joy-Con with the D-pad on it. It's got to stay.
They don't really act like Joy-Cons. Yeah.
But this one's actually wireless. So if you happen to be a Smash player that doesn't want to use
GameCube controller,
the GameCube controller or whatever,
but you still want to use a GameCube controller.
Yeah, it's interesting. I'd be curious to try some games out with this layout because I like the feeling of the GameCube controller.
Yeah, it is a different layout.
I like it. It's a comfortable feeling, you know. The button layout and the C stick.
Mm-hmm.
I like the way they felt. So that's fun. And two other quick things. One, there is a game called Ex-Zodiac, which I thought was pretty fucking sick. That was shown off at EGX 2019, which was a
I'm looking it up on my phone right now.
Little game show. Yeah, I mean, you take a look at the footage of this, and it's pretty. You understand what you're looking at within seconds. It's not that hard to understand, but Ex-Zodiac shows you.
Oh wow.
What is and should be the place that Star Fox ended up. It's basically going back to Star Fox, not 64.
Star Fox.
Star Fox.
Oh wow, that's a Star Fox.
It's doing the Star Fox hard.
Boy, is it.
And I think that's fucking wonderful because I'm absolutely like ahead of having all my nostalgia buttons pressed, staring at this thing. So right now it's just a demo. There's a boss fight. The music is doing the Star Fox type of boss fight music things, and it elicits all the right reactions and feelings of the FX chip days in particular. But yeah, right now it's just a demo. This might become something more and eventually end up on Steam for now. But you can check it out. It's Ex-Zodiac, and fuck me, I just like I didn't realize that I'm like, you know what? I miss Star Fox, and I miss what Star Fox 64 was, but the original as well is its own thing that is worth appreciating. So yeah, that's dope as fuck.
I don't care for the original Star Fox.
Oh, well, that's a shame.
I guess it is. Love Star Fox 64 though. Makes me think of my dentist though.
And thankfully, this is not. I'm not announcing Star Fox fan project.
Yeah. Right.
Whatever the fuck, you know.
Does it even matter?
I'm announcing something. It's talking about something else. So that's nice.
I'm glad to see that I saw Kotaku like reference some kind of Mario fan project a while ago, and the comments were just nonstop of "shut the fuck up." Everyone was like, "Stop it."
Everyone's saying "shut the fuck up" right now to you for saying you don't like Star Fox.
Yeah.
Weren't you a Genesis kid?
I was.
Yeah.
But my main problem with Star Fox was the frame rate.
Back then?
Yep. That was the first game that was the awakening of that feeling.
Did you even have a computer back then?
I didn't, but I played Afterburner and whatever the first Ridge Racer at the time in the arcade, and those were very similar, but the frame rate was like so much worse on Star Fox.
And the good video game inside of that?
It didn't really impress me. I preferred, if I remember correctly, I remember saying I'd rather go home and play Batman and Robin, which was also a shmup, but it was a side-scrolling kind of character shmup. But when Star Fox 64 came out and I played that at a friend's house, I was like, "Can I borrow your N64? Because this game's incredible."
And here everyone goes, "Oh, Pat." And we just, all right, okay. Yeah, that's kind of wild. I didn't realize that.
No, not everyone's going, "Oh, Pat." A lot of people are saying Pat is right. Haha.
We're shitting on Star Fox now.
Wait, and a friend of mine totally had a PC, and I played Doom at his house all the time. And I know Doom is not polygonal, but like, yeah, I was aware of PC stuff.
Okay, well, anyway,
like you're talking to somebody, Wooly, who had the reverse experience of showing Descent to people, and them going, "Oh, whatever, it's not as cool as Star Fox."
Oh God, okay, Descent. Well, anyway, that game, unfortunately, that was one of my motion sickness fucking.
Oh yeah,
triggers.
It is. I don't blame you one bit.
That
game was fucking hard.
Couldn't deal with it.
That game was built to kill.
Body hated it.
Yeah.
Everything about that. I got it free with something.
I think I did too.
I got it free with either a video card or might have been a Mobo.
See, here's the thing. I don't remember buying it, but I remember having it, and that was before piracy was like a thing. Well, I mean, it was a thing. But
no,
I
had it. I had a copy that I got that came free with something, and it was just, oof.
That game kicked ass, but yeah, no, Gravity.
Anyway, let's take it. Last but not least, to Otokomizu.
What?
Jetpack firefighting.
Okay.
Did you hear? No, of course you didn't hear about this.
Yeah, what the fuck are you talking about?
Well, if I can
you did it. See?
If I can...
It works. You were right. I didn't hear about it.
If I can hit this trailer button here to show you what's going on. You are a man in a fucking... excuse me. In one of those taiko drum loincloths.
Yeah.
Hovering over Edo City with a loincloth. using the power of water to Iron Man your way around. Okay, why is this link busted? That sucks.
You're really selling me on this.
Let me just get to the footage. This is one of them like good one-offs you take a look at and go, oh boy, the good shit is here. Hold on. We're gonna get to it. Open it up on Steam. You are the firefighter man, and you are using the power of water.
Oh man,
to slide and Iron Man your way
this
through.
Is some fucking dank shit.
You are Iron Manning with water, and then
God.
you are as a naked man, and you're spraying the water on the fire.
This is amazing.
And the houses are being doused.
This is crazy.
And this is the shit.
This is the shit right
here. This is the good shit. Otokomizu. And you power up, and you thrust, and you pose to spray and do the best firefighter's job you can.
This looks incredible.
And then there's fights, and there's dudes that are coming to stop you, but they can't stop you because
you shoot water.
You're unstoppable.
Wow.
You're naked water Iron Man.
That's crazy.
Firefighter. Saving Ito.
That's great. I love it.
Coming to Switch.
Really?
Yep.
Really?
Yep.
Wow.
Yep.
Okay.
Otokomizu. Any questions?
Nah, really.
Good.
I learned everything I needed to know.
Good. Done.
You guys should check out that trailer because Wooly's description doesn't do it justice. Because I don't think it's the poses, man. Him just spread eagling, shooting water out of his toes.
Another victory for Japan.
That's right. Yeah. Japanese video games just got that certain je ne sais quoi.
The Emperor has ascended to the throne, the Chrysanthemum throne.
All right.
And Otokomizu has been announced for the Switch. 2 events of equal magnanimous dignity and impact as we enter the new era. That name again, Otokomizu. Go look it up. Let's take a question or two.
Hey, if you want to send a question, email, general comment, whatever the fuck, send it to castlesuperbeastmail@gmail.com. That's castlesuperbeastmail@gmail.com. What up, man?
Let's take one over here. From Grayson.
Hey, Gray. What up, man? What up, man?
Dear Castle Super Anxiety.
Yeah.
When I was a kid, even now, my mom will occasionally watch me play video games. I'd show her a game like Halo and be like, hey, Mommy, look how cool Master Chief is. He wears armor and he kills the aliens and he isn't afraid of anything. She'd then look at it for a few minutes and be like, okay, but how does he poop, though? I believe partly because she isn't used to this style of media, her suspension of disbelief doesn't apply to things we wouldn't think twice about first and foremost, like the need to fulfill natural bodily functions. Though I'm sure that the novels probably go into how Master Chief has a tactical colostomy bag attached.
He probably totally does.
I kind of wanted to swing this by you because I couldn't tell my mom it was just weird, whether my mom was just weird or whether this is a common issue that we don't talk about because we mentally brush it off.
Your mom's cool. By the way,
she gets right to this is the what do they eat for a new generation, and quite frankly,
how do they poop?
And she got there on her own.
Yeah,
that's pretty impressive.
And the answer is there's a system that. But
why couldn't there just be a valve or a slot? You know who'd really really like that? J.K. Rowling.
Yes.
Tell your mom about J.K. Rowling's recent solutions, and let us know how she feels about those.
Not now, J.K. Not now.
Because I feel like she'd be very very pleased with where that went. Thanks, Grayson. Wooly, this is my name, the Time Sword. Dare Woltron and Patsworth.
What's up?
A couple weeks ago, you received an email about bad finales or final seasons. and I felt a question stir in me with the most recent finale to My Little Pony: Friendship is Magic. While Game of Thrones had its final season torn to shreds by fans, it was rightly deserved. Friendship is Magic was quite different, however. I stopped enjoying the cartoon during season 6. It ran for 9. And I tuned in for the finale, having read the synopsis for the episodes. While I'm still part of the community, enjoying art and stories, I'm completely mortified at how the show ended. The final season is the epitome of terrible writing and boring cliches. But I'm almost alone in my opinion. Compared to Game of Thrones, the fan base for Friendship is Magic regards the finale as well received, and they loved it. The long-winded question is, have you ever had something you love end terribly, but no one else thought so?
That's a really good question. Where you're like screaming, but it's terrible, and everyone's like, no, it's good. What are you talking about? I feel like the answer to that is actually yes all the time, but I can't think of anything right now.
I mean, I must have...
It's actually way more common for me to be like, this whole thing is terrible. And everyone's like, yeah, no, it's fine. And I'm like, don't you see? And they go, no, it's fine.
The problem is that a lot of the times when something does end terribly, when I shelf it in my brain, I shelf it in the bad because I feel like I'm thinking back on that ruined moment a lot.
Yeah.
You know? I must have brought it up or talked about something along those lines, and I'm really stretching. I was hoping you'd possibly have one. Something that no one else feels ended badly, but you.
I'm looking at like people are throwing down shit tons of things in our chat, and I'm looking at them. It's like I don't feel that way about many of these.
Yeah. So, for example, people are talking about like Steven Universe and Adventure Time, but I
know Steven Universe ended like shit.
I tapped out before that.
Yeah, but then I went and caught up like synopsis wise, and was like, "Oh, that's a terrible ending. Holy fuck, that's a fucking terrible ending."
Super best friends.
Real funny.
I don't know. But it's a really good question.
Mm-hmm.
I really want to find... I know there's something out there. Bracing in my brain for it.
Yeah, the things that really stuck with me, like I've brought up Battlestar Galactica a bunch. You're not going to find anybody defending that last season. You know, stuff like that. I think the last season of TNG is real weak overall, but that's generally appreciated. And even Eli, the crazy person, believes in that. Yeah, I got nothing.
I'm sorry, because it's a great question. It really is.
And I know that I have an answer. I just don't have one on me right now.
It's just hard to pull it out. Yeah. And that's unfortunate, but okay. Oh, Stranger Things? No. I am like when three started, and like I kind of peeped it out a little bit, but I'm definitely less motivated to continue. But like that Stranger Things, there's a lot of people that didn't like where 2 went, so I wouldn't put that in that category.
The only time I can think of is when the Mass Effect shit was popping off, and there were the people that are going, no, it's fine, you're all just overreacting. And it was like, no, that's really bad. It's really bad. It's bad. It's not good.
I mean, there is that MGS2 discussion, but I think
MGS2 is great.
But I think everyone, right, kind of over time there was that slow, like, hold on, these things are happening.
Yeah.
Oh shit, Kojima predicted the future.
Yeah.
But at the time, you're definitely like, what the fuck is wrong with this dude? What is happening?
This dude's nuts.
Where's Snake? You know, the whole the persistent where is Snake feeling, you know. Yeah, was hard up on that one for a while. Anyway,
we tried.
Okay. Let's take one more.
All right, what's the last one? Hey.
Orange Boy says, Dare Woolmancer and Little Red Ranger.
All right.
Finished The Outer Worlds.
Yeah.
No spoilers, obviously, but it was by far and best the best Western RPG I played in a long-ass time. It's nice to see a game with actual personality and writing behind it. Do you think the success of this will light a fire under other Western RPG devs to focus more on these
absolutely
aspects?
not.
Just hope and speculation, but law knows nothing gets me to forget basic necessities like a solid Western RPG.
Absolutely not. The fire that would have been lit under BioWare's and Bethesda's asses is the total failure of their products to do well, not other people doing it good as well.
Can I insert a caveat?
Go for it.
What if this makes stupid cash?
No, I mean,
if it's a breakout success,
it's not like they weren't trying to make it.
Yes, they were trying and failing. It was not a dead thing,
right?
It was a alive but like on life support.
Yeah,
thing.
like
yes. This is true. It's not. You're not picking up a torch that's been like unlit. It
just burns and smells like shit.
It was garbage incense for a while. Yeah. Okay. Fine. Fair. But would it not be almost more like, because there's two reactions. If it makes a ton of money, there's a reaction of like, this is how you do it good, and then there's the like, can we bring our IP to you and you do what you just did for our IP?
Yeah, they're never gonna do that.
Right.
Bethesda, Obsidian straight up offered to make another Fallout game for Bethesda, and they got shoot out the door.
Yeah. Just desserts.
Yeah. Fuck them. Hey, Wolves, what are you putting out this week?
With River City done, please look forward to that finale. I am pretty much right there on Astral Chain.
Yeah,
right there.
Yeah,
got to the big. The big started happening in Astral Chain, and not a moment too soon.
Mm-hmm.
And the timing of that was quite nice as well, because like, to go back on to touch on another thing this is all my sense of expectation for when I see an upgrade tree.
Sure.
But my expectations when I see an upgrade tree are that the end of that upgrade tree is going to be something super radical.
Mm-hmm.
And then it turns out that there is no final super cool.
No, the final thing is an extra slot on the skill chain thing.
It depends on which one.
For like
it's distributed. For 3 of the 5, it's distributed in a different order, right? But for sword, for beast, and for axe, there's no last really cool ability.
Yeah, they
just get it earlier.
All their cool stuff is like right away.
Yeah, and it's the same ones, right? So I was kind of waiting for a final, you made it, and this cost you 4 or 6 premiums.
Yeah.
And bam, there it is. And I'm like, fuck me, because I spent the premiums to look at what it was going to be.
Yeah.
And then it turned out to be a goddamn item slot.
That's why you load your game.
Yeah. Well, when that happened. So that happened to me like 3 times on the bottom of the sword, and then it happened to me again on the dog, and I was like,
"Oh, you could just look it up."
That's the point. I was enjoying the like, what's it gonna be?
Yeah.
Because earlier on we would go, "What's it gonna be?" and then it would be something awesome, and then we'd be like, "Yeah."
I almost totally maxed out sword really early, and got to see that pretty early. Yeah. And I was like, okay, well. All right.
So I started going for the other things because we were enjoying that, like, it's a cool ass new thing, right?
20% extra attack.
So
very exciting.
So then that expectation continued and ended up biting me in the ass. So we realized, this is just a waste of your premiums, which are now at a premium.
Yeah.
You had no problem early on, but now it is, right? And so I was like, this is a bummer. I really did want some, cool final
cool ability
there, and then it's like, okay. But it's like it happened right as I was like, the fuck video game.
And then the video
You're
game,
making me wasted my slots, you know?
and then the video game was like, hey, just in case you didn't get what anime we're cribbing notes off of strongly enough, we're gonna make it really, really obvious.
Yeah. So that's it's nice that my prayers were answered. Though it still doesn't change the fact that they could have done something better with that weapon tree. They could have put something.
They front load it.
They do front load it, and they change the distribution for sure. But like, it gets expensive to work your way all the way through it, and you always assume in game that when it takes a lot of effort to work your way through a weapon tree, there's something nice waiting for you at the end, right? That's what a weapon tree does. Like, that's the incentive, and in this case, it just it's like they should have done it. It would have been nice if they did, but here's the other thing, So yeah, Astral Chain continues over on Woolly versus River City Girls, as well as we're going to take a quick look at a couple of things upcoming. Ninja Warriors once again, unfortunately, had to be retitled Ninja Saviors: Return of the Warriors, which fucking sucks because of the show, the TV show. So we're taking a look at that. We're more than taking a look. We did a full run through of it, and
was that like an hour?
Yeah, it's 2.
Yeah, okay.
It's good shit. And yeah, all that and more. You can check that out over on YouTube, Woolly versus, and Woolly versus on Twitch as well. I haven't been streaming in a bit because these weekends have been really, really like busy. Like there's one, there's a lot of travel stuff going on, and 2, like the whole Sam show season thing. Yeah. Like I'm putting in work. Yeah. And to put in that work, unfortunately, it means it's hard to overlap all these things. But as soon as my schedule lightens up a bit, I do want to start picking up the streams and do it more regularly again. But for now, there's still a couple of other things I have to travel to for work purposes. So stay tuned. But yep, that's me.
Over at twitch.tv, Angry Spats, my first real week back in like a month.
Oh, I'm sorry. Indivisible obviously continues, and we just hit the new session because the first session was like
super long.
Yeah, it was like a 5-hour thing.
Yeah, because people were confused. I saw people talking about how today's episode went up, but it was still clearly before we had the discussion on the podcast because you were referencing things in the podcast that were new to you in today's video. So that first session must have been super long.
Yeah, we went hard right away on that, and of course, when something's coming out that way, it's you run into that Souls problem of yelling at the past.
Yeah, you don't know the game's not good at.
Yeah, basically it was up until that episode. I think it was episode 5. It was still my first time touching the game. Yeah. So I've figured out a lot since then, and I've figured out about there's certain things I was looking. I was doing a lot of DARS combos that were suboptimal, and a couple other things that I was just oh yeah, I've learned that now that I have the training mode for sure. But either way, because we're doing big sessions on it, because it's also something that I want to put out big parts. Yeah, because I know it's a long game, and I know that.
What are the parts averaging at?
They're honestly close to an hour each part.
Really? Okay.
Yeah.
Wow. Okay.
I'm putting out really big, chunky, beefy parts, 45 minutes, or so, and as a result, it can't be every day.
Well, yeah, no, that's yeah.
But 2, we're doing big sessions, which also means it's going to take longer for information updates to refresh as the new sessions go on. So yeah, that is continuing.
Sounds like the kind of game that you're trying to just you want to fucking get your hands on it as much as you possibly
want to get my hands on it as much as possible, and I don't want people to be waiting through part 80 something. You know what I mean? I want
you want to get through it as fast as possible.
Yes,
so that it's over.
But doing that on top of the twice weekly recording of Astral Chain, as well as River City, and then the one-offs, is quite a bit. But all of that does continue for the meantime on Woolly Versus, and of course, following Astral Chain will come something Something highly anticipated.
Highly anticipated.
I've been doing a highly anticipated for a while now, so I'm going to keep that going.
It's always going to be highly anticipated.
Something highly anticipated will be coming.
Like I was saying,
House of the Dead Overkill. I'm sorry, House of the Dead Overkill is happening.
You're doing a lot.
I'm doing a lot. House of the Dead.
Wally, why is it when you just?
I forgot. I'm done now.
Okay, well, I'm gonna do streams at twitch.tv/angriestpat. I'm gonna do Outer Worlds this week, and I'm also gonna do Disco Elysium, which you should probably check out yourself. That's a cool game. And tomorrow, I'm scraping together some old FF14 buddies to be doing a stream of the Nier Automata Yorha Dark Apocalypse raid, which comes out tomorrow, which from the trailer appears to have 9S in it. Not just 2P, but also 9S. And the quote from Yoshi P and Yoko Taro is, everything that you want to see will be in it. And there's already a snippet of a mix between the Final Fantasy theme and Weight of the World remix in there. That is incredible.
No reason not to believe when he promises that.
I'm going to put it in the Nier Automata playlist on my YouTube channel. Because fuck it.
How are the ass physics in FF14?
Terrible. It's a long-standing joke. Every time they have a Q&A, people ask them when they're going to add a butt slider. And every time they go, we're not adding a fucking butt slider.
Oh, that's not good.
In fact, it's so bad that when they added the bunny people that had the bigger asses, people discovered that their asses were actually part of the boot model. And that when you changed feet, their asses disappeared.
This does not bode well for
It does not bode well for it.
Cool, and that's going down this week.
That's going down this week. See you guys there, as long as the internet holds up.
Righto.
You can just end the podcast. You can just do it.
No, wait. What was it going to be? It was going to be that no.
This is good.
Sorry.
This is super good.
Brain
I love this. Yeah?
Stuff.
Games, channels. Video. Your channel?
It's
your
okay.
channel?
Button.
Button?
Button.
Button.
Button.